Hey guys, welcome to Chewed Gum. Today is January 27th. Do I look grainy and weird?
You look good.
Okay.
You look great.
Thanks. Thanks so much. Today's January 27th, and this is a show about rejecting purity culture, challenging misogyny, and the effects of religious trauma on women. So if you want to call in and talk to us about any of those topics or, anything adjacent, I guess, you can call the phone number that's at the bottom of the screen. It's 720-619-2288, or use the web link that is in the description if you're calling from out of the US. My name is Alyssa.
And I'm Taylor.
And yeah, excited to be here as always. And hi. As a reminder, super chats of $5 or more we read at the end of the show. So get your super chats in early so we can read all of them. And that's it. Taylor, how's it going?
Good. Well, I guess I was part of the winter storm, so that was fun.
Oh, right. You're on the East Coast. How much snow did you get?
I haven't been outside days, so I have no idea, but it looks like a decent amount.
Yeah, it looks like a lot.
And I tell myself I haven't left for like 3 days because of the snow, but that's just normal for me. So I don't know how much it snowed, but it was a lot of ice, like straight up ice was coming down where I was bouncing off of the bushes outside and stuff. It was very whack. And I feel like the roads were actually really bad. So I'm glad I didn't have to leave.
That's really funny. It was really whack is like the perfect way to describe. I love. That's so fun. I kind of love a snow day. I love getting snowed in.
I love snow days. I love snow.
Me too. I'm in Southern California now, and we obviously are not getting any snow ever, literally, unless like there's a really big if we get snow, we're in deep shit. Something is happening. But we're in big trouble.
Love snow. Hate ice though, guys. I hate ice, but I do love snow, and I love snowstorms, and I love snow days.
Yeah.
And it also gave me an excuse to be like crafting for a couple days straight and do nothing else.
Yeah.
I love that.
That's great.
That's my fave.
I love that. Yeah. Well, I'm in this hot ass weather, and actually, want to know what's really annoying about LA, especially this time of year? We just feel like 3/4 of the season in a day. It's like cold in the
Yeah, yeah.
morning, and then it's like it gets warmer, and then in the afternoon at 3 o'clock, it's like so hot I have to put shorts on. And then by the end of the day,
Damn.
I'm wearing sweatpants, sweatshirt, and a jacket. I'm like, this is
Damn. I don't like that.
I don't like it either. I'd rather give me the season and that's where we're gonna be, you
I
know?
also am obsessed with being cozy. Like if I can wear a lot of layers and have like a heated blanket,
Hmm.
that's my natural like habitat. I like that. That's
Yes.
my fave.
Yes. Agreed. Um, Maureen asked how the guinea pigs are. How's the one that had the surgery?
She's good. I was like a sick, worried mother when she first came home, but I think she's
Yeah.
doing good. She's like finally getting back to normal, but I think she
Okay.
was just scared of everything. How's your dog's eyes or one eye?
Her
Or
eye, her eye is fine. She's right here, actually. We have Bonnie, White Heel.
Hi.
And look at them. You can see both of them. They look so cute, Bonnie.
Wait,
Oh,
so what? I don't know if you said this before. What was up with Bonnie's
she
eyes?
just had like, she has one eye that is a little wonky, and it has been
Mhm.
for a little while. And I finally got answers for why that is. She's 13, so like, her
Yeah.
body is changing. And so the doctor said that as dogs get older, the muscles behind their eyes can degrade a little bit and just
Oh.
like not be so strong. And so on one of her eyes, the muscle is not so strong, and so it was, which is like kind of gross. It was like bulging out a little bit and swollen. It was
No.
nasty. It was nasty. It was nasty. But she just gave me like an anti-inflammatory drop to use, and
Oh,
now
nice.
she's totally fine.
We
So
love.
I know. I know. So we're all good. We're all good in this house. I'm freaking tired. Oh my God. Okay, and then we're gonna get to like to actually taking calls. I moved into my fiance's apartment. He's lived here for 8 years. So there's stuff that's like just, he's had since he moved in, including his mattress. Taylor, every morning we wake up in a taco because the
Oh no, I
mattress is,
hate that. I used to have a mattress like that and it's actual hell. Like I hate it. I hated it.
my back is killing me. And
You
I was
need to
like,
get a new mattress.
I need to get a new mattress. Well, I wanted to do that today. And we were talking about this before we started. We're like, don't tell me we're going to do something today if we're not going to actually have time to do it today. And that was one
Right.
of the things. I really wanted to go get a new mattress today, but and he refuses to get them online because he likes to go to the mattress store to try them out, which makes sense, but also because he likes to haggle with
Can
the
you even do that? Like at a mattress place or
that's okay, that's
is
what
that a
I
thing
thought.
still?
That's what I thought. But this man goes in there, he negotiates the price. He's like, I'm not afraid to leave. I will leave the whole store. And he'll just like go and be like, that's just like not gonna work for me. And he'll leave. And then he'll
That's
come back a
so
different day.
funny.
Like it's a process for him. But then he also got like free pillows, three free sheets, like all this stuff. I don't know.
Well, he better start negotiating soon. If
I
he leaves,
know.
if he has to leave and then come back a couple of times, he better get on it.
That's what I'm saying. We don't have time. Like my back hurts. I'm
I
32.
bet.
I can't do this.
Yeah,
Oh my
don't
God.
blame you.
Well, we actually have some theists. Oh, okay. We have some theists who called in. And there is one that I actually am really excited about hearing this. Number 43. I have
Mhm.
this question all the time. And so I'm actually really excited
Yeah,
about that call. Are you
same.
down to take it?
Yeah, I'm so down.
Okay. All right. We're gonna pull in Kevin. Love the name. Hi, Kevin.
Hello.
Hi, how's it going?
How you? I'm good. Hi, Alyssa and Taylor.
Hi.
No. So do you want
Do you
to
remember?
describe what you wanted to talk about today?
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Before I go in that, Taylor, do you remember me?
Do I?
Um,
Oh, Taylor.
from like,
Yeah.
did you call
Yeah.
in?
Yeah. I
Can
called
you
in the
remind me?
first time with you and Forrest.
Oh, I'll be honest, my memory's so bad that I don't even remember what calls I had with Forrest because I was probably so nervous.
Oh, no worries, it's fine.
Yeah.
It's been over a year, so like
Oh yeah.
I think you must have forgotten.
Probably.
So,
I'm sorry.
anyways, oh, no worries. I just came to talk about how God sacrificing his own son Jesus is love, but atheists
Okay.
don't see that as love. So that's what I want to talk about. I won't take up much of your time. It's just like to discuss the topic. So
Okay.
Yeah, I'm curious about this because from my perspective, it's like a manufactured sacrifice. Like God made up this rule and then like he made up the whole situation. And then we're all supposed to be like sorry and thankful when he knew when he was going to send Jesus down that that was the plan. So it feels kind of coercive more than anything.
can I ask you both about why is that not love to you?
Well, I feel like you could claim it's love if that's your definition of love. But kind of like Alyssa said, like he didn't need to, so it doesn't make sense. Like if somebody came to me and told me they like killed their child for me so they could forgive me, I'd be mortified and I'd be like, please do not love me that way. I'm actually so good on that. So that's
mortified.
That's why it's it another thing I want to say is it also doesn't really feel like love because that whole thing happened, but apparently still a ton of us go to hell for not believing. And if he truly died for everybody's sins, then I feel like everybody would go to heaven. It doesn't make a lot of sense. So I'm not exactly sure what I'm even thanking him for because he's going to send me to hell anyway. At least that's what a lot of Christians tell me. So I don't feel like I have a lot to thank him for, and I don't feel like he loves me if he's still sending me to some kind of eternal torture for something I'm not convinced of.
Oh, I see. But Taylor, do you believe that his son was alive on Earth?
Taylor, I think you're muted.
Sorry. I said probably. I feel like a lot of people agree that he was probably someone in history. I feel like we probably don't know a lot about him, but I mean, probably.
Oh, I see. And what about you, Alyssa?
About which part?
About like, did you believe that God's son was like a real person? Like, but do you believe that he just died? What I'm asking?
Maybe. Maybe.
I also want
don't
to
know if
clarify, I
it's...
don't think he's God's son. I think he was just like probably some dude.
Yeah, like
Oh,
I
I
think,
see.
and I don't know that it's really relevant because I don't believe that anything supernatural happened there. So like if
Mm-hmm.
anything, he was a guy, and there were lots of people who got unfortunately crucified in that period of time. It wasn't just Jesus. That was like a method of punishment for some crazy reason. Um,
Right.
but I also think that one of the things that makes it kind of confusing to me is it doesn't really feel like much of a sacrifice for God to send down this like supernatural divine version of himself, knowing that this was going to be the plan, and also knowing that he was going to be offering eternal life. So you didn't really sacrifice anything, like, especially if the big sell in Christianity is if you do all the right things and you make all of the right choices, then you get to be a part of this like eternal kingdom of heaven. Then I don't really, so then if I'm to go with that ideology, then I shouldn't really feel so bad about how Jesus died because he got to go to a better place.
Yes, because he was only dead for 3 days. So, but so like, and then atheists ask this question about why did God need to send his son? Like, they ask the question about why God can't, like, why God just can't forgive. I mean, he can't just forgive. There has to be like some kind of justice, because he can't just say, "Oh, I forgive you," because he saw how Adam and Eve sinned, right? That's
Wait,
how
what
all
about
of
when
this happened,
humans
and
do
that's
it?
why. I'm sorry.
So when humans forget each other without like killing somebody, do you feel like that's unjust? Do you feel like there's justice that needs to be served?
Yes.
Huh? So you think someone should die
Wait.
like every time someone forgives each other?
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Can you ask the question again? I'm sorry. I
Yeah.
misheard you. I totally
No, that's
misheard you.
okay. No, that's okay. I was saying, what about when humans do it for each other? Like we forgive and we're not like sacrificing somebody. Is that lack of justice or something? Is that not just to you?
No, it's not justice for humans. No.
So I'm sorry, just to reiterate, you believe that Jesus dying on the cross was an acceptable punishment for what humans were doing? Like that had to be what happened for sins to be forgiven?
Um, like you're asking, like is that the like the perfect punishment? Is that what you're asking?
Yeah, like did the punishment fit the crime to you?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Well, this is also you understand that it's like the person who is doing this orchestrated all of the rules. So he made the board game. He made the board game, he made the rules. So then why
Yeah.
if he made so even when you go as far back as Adam and Eve, when the tree that they were eating the fruit from was the tree of knowledge. So these are
Yes.
these like sort of blobs of people who don't know anything. They don't understand the concept of truth or the concept of lying. They don't understand any of this, presumably, and then are not are not given instructions on what to do. And then Eve is offered the apple. She takes a bite out of it, and then now
Mm-hmm.
everyone has eternal damnation forever. Like if you are not eternal damnation, we have original sin forever. That's literally a rule that God made up. Like that doesn't feel like love to me.
Also, who is deciding that forgiveness requires justice, and who's deciding what is justice?
God is deciding that.
Right. So he's setting his own standard. So why did he do that is kind of what we're asking here. What like there's no I feel like a lot of times when Christians talk about this, they act that like there's some kind of third party involved forcing God to reach some kind of level of justice or something. He's the one deciding what it means to even forgive. He's the one deciding what justice is. He could easily be like, I can forgive without any form of justice, or the justice is something completely different. I don't know, but it doesn't have to be that way. It's kind of our point. He's setting the standards for himself. He doesn't have to meet these standards. He's making them up as he goes.
I hear you, but you're saying that he didn't need to send his son, that he could just forgive, correct?
Yes.
He decided to like make
Yeah.
it this whole dramatic thing, and it didn't have to be.
And I don't really agree with what you said earlier where forgiveness requires like justice. I've never heard that before. I've forgiven people for a lot of things and I've never been like I need justice for that. Do you feel like you need justice every time you forgive somebody? I feel like that's not typical a lot of times with forgiveness. I feel like they're kind of two separate things.
Yes. Like the thing is that God saw how we all sinned, right? So that's why his son needed to come down so he can forgive us for our sins.
But God,
No,
so
he didn't need to come down. He could have
he
just
didn't need
forgiven
to
us.
do that. He didn't need to have a human sacrifice to forgive us for our sins. He could have done literally anything else, but he did a human sacrifice. That doesn't feel like love to me. And you also created a situation where the stakes are so high because there's a human, well, not a human, a divine being, but someone who presents like a human's life on the line. Like someone in the chat, someone said that God is like Jigsaw in Saw. Like that's sort of what it feels like. Like it's all of these marionettes. He created the situation, and then he's like, well, now he's like, well, you have free will, but also there's a gun to your head. You have free will and you just have to follow my rules. And if you don't follow my rules, then you will go to hell forever. But
He's literally playing Sims. That's what's going on.
Literally, he's playing Sims. You can do whatever you want if you want to. But you will be punished if you don't do the thing that I have perceived as being the right thing.
It's not really what it looks like. Can I explain?
Sure.
Like it's not really what it looks like because God doesn't want us to go to hell because it wasn't created for humans. It was for the devil and his angels. So in order for us not to go to hell,
who created the devils and the angels?
Wait, also, I'm sorry. I need to stop you there really quick. God did create hell for us. He knew exactly what he was going to use hell for when he created it because he's all-knowing. When you're an all-knowing being, there's no, oh, I originally made it for this purpose. There's none of that because you know exactly what you're going to use it for. So yes, if he's an all-knowing being, he created it knowing he would use it for us. So it's not just meant for whatever you're talking about, demons, the devil, it is also meant for us if he knew we were going there.
Yes, and I totally get what you're saying, but the only way to not go to hell is like the only way to not go to hell for all eternity, right? Is to believe in God's one and only Son, Jesus Christ, is to save us from going there. That's why the sacrifice needed to happen.
That doesn't explain why it needed to. That didn't explain why it needed to happen. You keep saying it just needed to happen, but you're just making that statement. You're not giving us a reason why it actually needed to happen.
It also, Kevin, doesn't feel like that much of a sacrifice when he got up 3 days later. So he didn't fully die. He suffered one single day, as other people who were crucified in that period of time. Because, like I said, he's not the only person to have ever been crucified. We know that actually because he's like up on a cross next to someone else, is he not? So he's not the only person to have been crucified, but he is the only person who got up allegedly after 3 days. So he also had a bit of an advantage over other people. So why am I supposed to feel bad for this sacrifice that God decided to do? God decided he was going to do that. He decided to send his son down. Nobody asked. That's like if someone does you a favor and then they're like, you should be really grateful for me. You should be really grateful. It's like, well, I didn't ask you to do that. So like, yeah, I'm grateful, but I'm not going to like live my life by your moral code because you decided that you wanted to do a favor for me.
Yeah. Also, if somebody's giving you a gift should never come with, you're going to be punished if you don't receive this gift. That's not a gift.
I can actually kind of agree on that, but it's not what it looks like. But like, did you believe that Jesus Christ died for your sins, Taylor and Alyssa? Did you believe that he actually died and rose again?
Yep.
You were
did I believe that?
Christian? Yes, yeah. Yes.
I was never really like that Christian. Like we were a very casual Christian house. We went to church on holidays and actually we went most Sundays too. I went to like CCD, whatever. But I didn't really think about it so much. And then as I got older, I was like, "Ooh, this kind of feels kind of like BS." And I was like, I don't need this actually. So I'm lucky in that my deconstruction from it was not so bad because I was not as heavily invested in it. So I don't know. I guess I kind of did. But I also just didn't care that much.
Oh, I see. And I totally understand where you're coming from. It's just that um because atheists say that God could have just figured out like another way, but they should be grateful that there was a way, right? Because Jesus gave us a way out. I mean,
No, because he put us in the situation in the first place. Like,
Yeah.
you know what? It actually reminds me of what Donald Trump does when he like puts us in really bad situations in politics, and then he'll like reverse something that he put in place in the first place, and then play the hero, and he wants everyone to be so grateful.
Yeah.
It's like just extremely narcissistic and ridiculous, and I feel like you have to be kind of dumb to fall for it, or you're not paying attention, and that's exactly what this kind of situation sounds like to me. He manufactured the entire issue.
right? Because I've seen atheists say, "Oh, why can he just forgive?" I mean, because like the difference is that God makes the rules, right? Humans, we don't make the rules. Only God makes the rules. So only he gets to decide what his rules are going to be. You know what I mean? So
yeah, that's what I have.
Right, that's the whole point. That's the point that we're trying to make. He made up the rules. So he made up that the thing that he was going to do was send his son to Earth and then have him sacrificed 33 years later. He made that up. That is something that he decided. He manufactured this sacrifice. So that, I guess, so that people would feel really bad.
Yes. You were still talking? I thought you were finished. I'm sorry. Were you still going,
No, it's
Alyssa?
okay. No. You can go ahead.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. I mean, So like, so if that's not true love to you, then like, but what is true love to you? Like in your opinion, though. Besides that.
It's many things, but it would first of all be doing things because you love and care about them without requiring anything in return.
Oh, I see. Um. Yeah. So that's the subject I want to talk about today. I don't want to take up like I don't want to take up both of your time, so that's what I wanted to discuss. But I'll keep, you know, just keep studying this. So I mean, but yeah, it was nice talking with you both.
Thanks,
Thanks for
Kevin.
calling.
Have a good day.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye.
Okay.
I feel like we went a little bit in circles there, but
Yeah. And I think that someone in the chat had mentioned that it kind of sounded like he was understanding where we were coming from and then was kind of like, hold on.
well, I feel like the biggest thing missing was him thinking that he's like, oh, well, we sinned, so God had to do that. So I'm like, no, that doesn't, that doesn't
It's not how that
track.
works.
Yeah, no.
That's not how that works. And also, that's like a very abuser mindset to be like, well, we did something wrong, so we need to be punished. It's like, no,
exactly.
you don't.
And again, even if we needed to be punished, whatever that means, he could have just forgiven us. And it makes humans look so much more powerful than God, because why can't we forgive every single day without killing some kind of living creature? I don't see how that helps when it comes to forgiveness. That wouldn't make me forgive somebody more if something died.
No. Well, and that's like kind of the whole thing is that like hearing the story of Jesus does not draw me to this at all. It actually makes me kind of be like, what? That is fucked up. So it's just like, let me get this so clear. God-made imperfect beings, knew what their entire storyline of life was going to be from beginning to end, but then also gave them free will with a gun to their head. And then at some point, after he watched them fuck up enough times, he dropped his alleged son in the womb of a 14-year-old girl, and then had her tell everyone that she's still a virgin, like it's anyone's business. And then have to raise a kid for 33 years and then watch him get brutally murdered. And then we are all supposed to turn around and be like, yo, thank you.
I think it's I think it's really hard for a lot of people to understand that thought process, because that's the type of thought process that other religions had so long ago, and somehow this one just made it to modern day. You know what I mean? Like, so much of them had to do with some kind of miracle child or miracle offspring, and sacrificing things. And I feel like that was such a product of its time. And so now that it's here in modern day, we're just kind of like, why? Why is that why do we believe that? And I mean, yeah, it's way less believable now, obviously, because we have way more knowledge on pretty much everything.
Yeah. It's silly now. All right. Do you have a preference of the next call that we take? We have 2 other theists.
The last one, 6. I'm not sure if I'm fully understanding it, but
yeah. Let's pull in Cortez, calling from New Jersey.
Hello.
How's it going?
All right.
Good.
Basically my topic, it was about social harm, and listening to you describe the Bible. I mean, you're right. You have the right to have your opinions, but the cross was a holy sacrament of times and times again that human beings messed up. If you mess up, a punishment, a consequence is going to happen.
I believe that there are... Sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I don't think the punishment fits the crime at all. I think the Christian version of a justice system is severely fucked up. I don't think it's justice at all. How? Well, first of all, if you believe in hell, you're sending people to hell you're sending someone to eternal punishment for a finite crime. What sense does that make?
Because you don't want to be with God. God's not going to force you to work for anything. You don't want to be with God.
Then this might be some crazy information for you. I'm not going to hell because I don't want to be with God. I'm literally not convinced he's real. How can I not want to be with God if I don't even think he's real?
That's fine. You have your choice. Then you be step away.
I don't get to decide if I believe in God. I don't get to decide if I believe in God. I cannot force. Can you stop believing in God for 5 minutes right now? If I asked you to, like, knife to your throat, stop believing in God right now. Could you do that? Honestly,
no, die on that cross, because he bared that cross for me.
Okay, that wasn't the question. Could you actually get yourself to stop believing in God for 5 minutes? Just 5 minutes on a timer. Okay, so then what makes you think me being convinced of God is a choice if you just admitted it's not a choice?
No, you asked me, can I choose? I say no, but someone else can choose not to. That's a loving choice. A loving choice is what a person says and what a person does.
But Cortez, there are people who are we have many hosts on this channel that were very, very religious, and when they started to feel like they were losing their faith, they had questions they couldn't answer, prayed every single day to have God show himself to them in some way, shape, or form. They like this ruined the lives of many of the people, like the lives as they were, of many of the people who leave their religions for this exact reason. Why would God not show himself to those people when they're begging on their
Because
hands and
you
knees,
have
literally, to all they need is some sort of sign?
to do works without prayer means nothing. Like you can
But
pray
I'm
all
telling
you
you that
want
they
to,
pray.
but you expect something that's not going to happen.
Sorry, they respect something.
You are expecting something to happen. God is not on
Expecting something to
anyone's
happen.
time.
So does he answer prayers or does he
mm,
not answer prayers?
He answers prayers that people that has a relationship with Him.
But if people are
Okay.
praying for a relationship with him and he
And they're
does not
trying their
give that
best.
to them, yes, and they are trying their best. These are people who have believed and are their whole families believe, their entire life is built around their religion, and they are praying for their faith to come back to them, and it's not happening.
Mhm.
Why would God do that?
I mean, personally, I'm a human being, so I didn't build the kingdom of all souls. So for me, the only thing I gotta go off is what the Bible says about mankind, and mankind can be outward praising God, but inside their heart, inside their soul, they can hate or disobey God. You
So
like
your
even the
answer
Bible
is they're
says,
lying. Your answer is they're lying. They're not actually trying to have a relationship with God.
I don't know. I'm a human being. I'm not God. The only thing I
Okay,
got to look at is the Bible. That's it.
Okay.
I'm
okay.
no wiser or no dumber than anyone else. I'm a human
Why
being.
would
I
God
am a fallen
do you
creature.
believe, Cortez, do you believe that God has a plan for you?
Yeah,
Okay. Do you believe that God has a plan for everyone?
yes.
Okay. So if God had a plan for me and Taylor, and he
Hmm.
knew when he dropped us on this earth at some point we would no longer believe he exists, and he knew that that would mean we would get sent to hell per his rules that he made up, and he still put us on this earth. Does that feel ethical to you? Does that feel like
Yes,
love to
that's a
you?
loving God.
That's a
Yes,
loving
that's a
God.
loving
He
God.
knew he was
Yes,
creating
respect.
people that he was going to send to eternal damnation because he wouldn't show himself to us in any significant way. And he knew, and he still put us on this earth.
Yes, because you have a choice. You're a human being. What you
Um,
make, what you make, and what you choose is your choice.
um, Never mind, I
Taylor.
lost my train of thought.
Okay. So
Wait,
that
no, I
yeah,
do
go ahead.
remember. I really want to go back to this one thing because you're telling me that I'm choosing hell. And I really, I'll give a different analogy because obviously the first one was bad and you don't want to participate in that. If I told you to start believing the grass is purple, like genuinely start believing that, could you do that? Could you choose to do that?
I could choose to do it. Yes,
You said you could?
yes,
You could you could genuinely believe the grass is purple.
yes.
You could be fully
We
So
convinced
have
of you
Cortez,
could be fully convinced of that. I think that
so you
I don't think that's true. I
I
think
don't think that's
that's
true
not
either.
how.
true.
And I think that you're like the degree to which you are willing to concede on that point is crazy. You are willing to accept something that is completely just not true to prove a point of belief being something you choose instead of just conceding and saying, "No, maybe belief is not something you choose."
Yes, you do. I don't agree with that concept. Either you walk with God or you walk away. That's it. It's a hard choice. I'm not saying like people, like you
What's
said,
the
people are
benefit?
not trying to worship and everything.
What's the benefit of walking with God to you?
Walking with God is peace. Walking with God is knowing that you can slip, you can fall, like, and have up and downs. You can have your patience get pushed. You can be angry, but the peace of solidarity of living a hard life, and then passing away, and then being in the kingdom of God, that you don't have to worry about sickness. You don't have to worry about people cutting you off, people getting mad at
Do you
you.
get a
You
choice in
in
heaven?
fellowship with God.
Do you
Say
get
again?
choices in do you have free will in heaven?
Yes,
Okay. And
that's why.
is there any sin and suffering in heaven?
No, because if you choose not to
Okay.
follow, you get
Yeah,
kicked out.
cool. Okay, cool. So you have free will. You don't have suffering and nobody is sinning. So you are saying that
Yeah.
that is a possibility. Why didn't he create that in the first place and still give us free will?
Because to love a person and trying to control a person is not love.
Yep,
Love is accepting someone's decision.
Yep, we just established that you believe you have free will in heaven, but there's no sinning and there's no suffering. We just established that.
No.
So why can't he
Yes.
have done that in the first place if that's what he's capable of?
How would he have loyal people without free will? Loyalty
We
is proved
just
by the
said
work you
there's
do,
free
the
will.
action.
We just said
We established
there is
there's
free will in
Actually, you
heaven.
established that there's free will in heaven.
Yes, that's why
So if he's
Lucifer got
capable
cast
of
out.
creating, if he's capable of creating a space where there is free will and there is no pain and no suffering, he's capable of doing that. Why did he not do
Yes.
that here? Why do we all have to
You mean
suffer?
on Earth? On Earth? Because of Adam and Eve. Adam is the first human being to ever sin because of Eve.
Okay, that doesn't answer my question.
Those are also
Why didn't he just start off with heaven if you have free will in heaven and you don't have anything bad? Why didn't he create that in the first place?
Because I don't think, even if I was God and I'm not, I wouldn't want to come down here and on Earth and be like, well, I want to make y'all all into puppets. I want to make y'all all do what I want. That's not love.
What do you think?
We just said that we have free will in heaven. Why are you repeating this thing over and over again? You said that there's free will in heaven. So stop talking about God doesn't make us robots. That's completely irrelevant because you just said that we have free will in heaven. So that is not an answer to my question.
Are you talking about Earth? Or are you talking about
I am saying,
heaven?
why didn't God start off with heaven? If there's free will in heaven and there's no pain, there's no suffering, there's no sinning. If that's a possibility, why wasn't that the first choice?
Because we are flesh. I'm a flesh. After my flesh died, I will be a spirit. So the
That's not an answer.
Came first. Yes, the kingdom did come first. The afterlife, the kingdom of souls did come first. But God said, I'm going to create something like me that would choose. The angels didn't have a choice to worship God. We do. That's what makes us so brilliant and special in God's eyes.
Yeah. And you just said we could have that choice in heaven. So there's no reason as to why he couldn't have made that in the first place.
He did.
Do you believe?
Is it heaven?
Do you believe that the purpose of pain and suffering is so that we have trials and tribulations that, show that we are able to get into heaven?
No, yes, but not really, not much. Well, you want to say something else?
Well, so do you believe that animals go to heaven?
Yes.
You believe animals go to heaven. So they are under the same rules that we are. So a lion in the animal kingdom that's going to kill another lion, that doesn't really feel like it's like following the 10 Commandments. They still get to go to heaven.
We are under a different commandments of law.
So are animals robots?
We are.
Did he make all animals robots?
No, animals are mammals. We are mammals, but when it comes to our soul and our purpose that God put us on here, He didn't put the purpose for animals to worship Him. He put animals on this earth so we could feed ourselves, clothe ourselves, make material. He did everything that's possible for mankind to.
If animals have souls, if animals have souls and souls are so precious, why the fuck are we killing animals? That's like barbaric then, right? Are you vegetarian or vegan or what?
We kill animals for our needs. I'm
aware of that. I live on planet Earth. Yes.
Yeah, yes. We kill animals for food. How are we going to get
understand
food?
That. I understand these very basic concepts. I'm asking, if you believe animals have souls, why do you think it's okay to kill something with a soul?
I don't know if an animal got a soul.
You don't know if animals have souls. Do they have souls in your... Do you believe that animals have souls or not? Right.
Right?
They get to heaven, but they're not under the same commandments of human beings.
But if they have souls, your body, your physical body doesn't go to heaven. Your soul goes to heaven. So if you're telling me they go to heaven, then they have a soul.
They go to heaven, but I don't know what rule they go to heaven by. I have no judgment on that when it comes to animals going to heaven. I think they do, but I'm not God. I'm not the king of all souls.
Okay, so if animals do go to heaven, or sorry, if they have souls, then why does God put them through needless suffering? Things like a deer getting hit by a car, an animal attacking another animal. What is the purpose of that exactly? If they don't go to heaven, so they don't get the redemption of having eternal life one day, what is the point of animals suffering as much as they do?
We have to eat, and I said again.
But I'm not talking about human intervention. I'm talking about within the animal kingdom. What goes on?
I'm not a zoologist. I'm not a person that.
No, but you're a man of faith. But you're a man of faith. And so you're telling me that the reason that we go through the pain and the suffering that we do doesn't really matter because we get eternal life later. And it makes it all the better when we have eternal life later. So you have these other creatures who don't have eternal life and go through the pain and the suffering every single day. Why did God put them on this earth for the pain and the suffering every day? And I'm not talking about animals that we eat. I'm talking about the random animals that are just in the wild, that maybe they serve a purpose in our ecosystem, but they do nothing for us humans.
They do. I mean, dogs do something for us. We've always been around animals. I don't know when it comes down to suffering of animals. I only know about suffering of human beings, and I have sympathy for animals when they do get hurt because I don't want to see another human being get hurt. But that doesn't mean that another human is not going to choose to do something wicked to a person or animal.
It doesn't make sense to me when I see that's called needless suffering of animals and say, oh, it's okay to not understand why they have suffering, but I mean, our suffering is special and leads us somewhere. That just doesn't, I don't know. It doesn't even make sense.
Our suffering is different. I can care for a dog that gets hit, and I can care for my daughter. I can care for my sister. But at the end of the day, it still comes down to personal choice. Everyone has a personal choice. It's hard for me sometimes.
What does that have to do with suffering?
With say again?
What does this have to do with suffering? Having a choice? What are you saying?
Suffering is a choice because you're going to have consequences.
Suffering is a choice. Like if I get a disease or like I get hit by a car,
Suffering
that was
is
a choice?
Like if a child is born into a family that does not have the resources to feed that child every day, that child had a choice in that matter? What's the child's choice?
I'm saying for me, when it comes to that situation, no. I'm talking about personal choice. I'm talking about every
so you're saying in some situations, some people have personal choice, and in that circumstance, then they have personal choice, and that matters for some reason.
No, every human being has personal choice. When it comes down to a kid being sick, I don't know why God would make sickness in their body, but I think that sometimes we forget the steps that we play into it. I mean, outside of people being sick, you can't help that people do get sick.
Yeah, but God can.
But God can. Yeah, God can. God can.
God can heal a body, but he wasn't placed on this earth. He didn't walk with mankind to save mankind from the fate of flesh. He didn't.
What did he
save our souls?
Then what is the point of him? What is literally the point of God then?
Dying for our sins that we make every day. To be unkind.
Cortez, hold on a second. I'm going to say the same thing that I said to the previous caller. God created the earth. God created the people he drops on the earth. He then decides that he is going to create imperfect beings that have free will so they could do whatever they would like. He then makes up a set of rules where about half of them are about only worshiping him. And then if those people do not believe that he is God and if they don't worship him, he will not show himself to them. But if they don't blindly worship him, they could go to hell. Then he decides later, I'm going to drop down this version of myself and have him teach some lessons. There are some good ones. I'll give you that. I'll have him teach some lessons. And this is going to be the time where I show myself to people. And then I'm going to put him in a position where, because I know everything, I know how all of this is going to go. He knew when he dropped Jesus on this earth, he was going to sacrifice his life. So he knew when he did that, he emotionally manipulated the entire world, even though he dropped a person, a divine being on this earth that he knew was going to sacrifice his life and also come back to life and also then get to go to this heaven that apparently is better than being on earth. I don't feel bad. That sounds fine. He's also, again, like I said to the previous caller, he's not the only person. He's not the only person during that period of time who was crucified as well. That was not unique to Jesus Christ. So to me, that sounds like a person who so badly needed everyone to be up his ass, and to be obsessed with him, that he was like, well, and now you guys don't love me enough. I'm going to send down this person and I'm going to make you emotionally attached to him. I'm going to make you love him so much. And then I'm going to take him away from you. But then just kidding. He's going to be alive still. So how about that? He sounds like a toddler.
He's alive in soul. Yes, he came down to have a physical relationship with his creation. Now, when you come to our decisions, whether or not we want to follow or we don't, that's why I say God is loving. Because if it comes down to it, we all deserve death for every sin. If you didn't build a house,
we all
don't have the right to complain about it.
Hold on. Did you say we all deserve death for every sin?
Yes, that's the bounty of sin in the Bible. Death.
This is why I say the Christian justice system, if that's what you want to call it, is so bizarre and doesn't make any sense. Why why do you think in our justice system we have different punishments for different crimes?
And also we have crooked judges. We are not no better than
Oh my gosh, that is
else.
besides the point. Everyone is aware our justice system sucks. But why in general do people get different punishments for different crimes?
Because we have a different judgment than God.
Okay. Okay. But it's also, he also created, we're also born not having the choice to be perfect. Do you agree with that? It's impossible for people to be perfect. So you're telling me just because I was brought into this world without my consent, I didn't even have a choice. And I also didn't have a choice of being perfect, but I deserve to die and burn in hell because of that, because of a choice I didn't make?
No, because you chose.
I couldn't choose to be perfect.
God.
I couldn't choose to be perfect. That's impossible.
Choose.
I couldn't choose to be perfect. That's impossible. So he gave me an impossible task he knew I couldn't get to, and I deserve to burn for that. And I should be so thankful that God put me on this earth so I can live a freaking normal life and then burn in hell for the rest of eternity. Oh my God, I'm so grateful to him. What a loving fucking God. He's so great.
No, God put Jesus on this earth to pay for our sins. We can't pay for it.
And yet I'm still going to hell for not being convinced of something I can't force myself to be convinced of.
He didn't do jack shit for me. He made up all of the rules. He made up the rules for how you get into heaven. He made up the rules for how you get into hell. He made up that he was going to put his son on earth. This was his fucking idea. He decided he was going to put his divine son, who is supernatural and not actually going to die. He decided that he was going to put him on earth.
He did die, but
he fake died. He fake died. He died, and then 3 days later, he got back up like a fucking zombie.
He took a weekend nap.
He took a weekend nap, and then he got back up.
Yeah, but that wasn't that he was just got back up. And all of a sudden now, it's magical. He died. He died in flesh for our sins. On that cross,
but he didn't. Holy. But Cortez, he didn't because he rose again. So even if he did die, he died so that everyone would be heartbroken. Think of it this way. God set up a situation so that this entire town of people who have become so emotionally attached and worshiping this man had to walk around while he was carrying a cross and getting physically abused for hours and hours and hours. And then he made them watch him up on a cross slowly die, made them pull him, including his mother, by the way, and made this town or whatever, his followers, pull him off of a cross, this bloody man, after they were just traumatized watching what happened, and then put him into this tomb, knowing full well 3 days later he was going to get up. How am I not supposed to be pissed? How am I not?
He's showing what humankind is.
He made it up. Cortez, he made it up.
It's
not a miracle if that was the plan all along. That was the plan all along. That was the plan all along.
Humankind killed an innocent being on that cross.
He had a choice. He's all powerful. He always has a choice. He always has a choice. He creates the rules. He creates literally everything.
Okay, but you still have a choice to choose.
And I'm telling you, I don't. I'm telling you, I can't force myself to believe in God, and you can call me a liar every single day if you want, but I'm not fucking lying.
I'm not calling you a liar.
There's only two choices. There's only two choices. There's only two choices here. You either think I'm a liar, or you admit that I can't force myself to believe in God, and we can't force ourselves to be convinced of things. Which is it? It can only be one.
You can't. You can choose to love God and you choose to follow God, or you choose not to.
Okay, so I'm a liar then. I'm a liar.
No one should. No. Did I say a liar?
Yes.
I said you said that you can't be forced to be praising God, and that's fair and that's righteous. You shouldn't.
Okay, I have a question. So what did before Jesus died, how did people get forgiveness from God?
sacrificing of the lambs and stuff
Yeah,
like that.
the animals. What sense does it make that you need the death of a random innocent animal to be forgiven?
Because of death is sin. Anytime you sin, that's death. So blood for an animal is the same. It's the same
Low-key,
penalty that Jesus Christ died on the cross.
Low-key, God's a freak.
His blood.
He's a freak. Why does he want all this death, all this sacrifice, all this blood? He's like bloodthirsty in the Bible. He's obsessed with spilling blood. It's so weird. Because he doesn't have to have
incredibly
that.
violent, incredibly violent.
He doesn't have to
Also,
choose that.
Cortez, do you
He hates
believe?
wickedness.
So Cortez, so
And he loves sacrifice and he loves blood.
do you believe, Cortez, that if you don't believe in God, that you are going to hell?
I mean, going to the Bible, yes.
Okay. So what about people who are from different faiths? People who have no idea, they're not familiar with the Bible. It never came across their desk. They live in a completely different part of the world. People who are Muslim or whatever. That's not their religion. That's not what they grew up with. Are they going to hell?
Yes. I mean,
They're going to
according
hell.
the Bible, if you
Okay.
don't choose God, that's on you. You can
Does
place
that
your
sound
bets
does
where
that
you wanna
sound
be
like
at.
a just and loving God? He so badly needs you to be on your knees going, "Daddy, please save me." He needs you to specifically to him tell him that you believe in him and that you love him so much. Otherwise, you're going to hell forever. What are you
No, he
talking
wants a
about?
relationship with us. If we choose not to have that relationship, then
What if
But if this
that's
is a
your
person
choice.
who has if this is a person who did not grow up with a belief of the Bible, they grew up in a completely
Well,
different religion.
no tongue under heaven has an excuse for your sin, except for God. God can only pay for your sin.
Wait, so what about if you're on a remote island and you've literally never heard of like any religion ever?
God can only pay for your sin. There's no excuse.
Yeah, so how are they supposed to figure that out?
I don't know. I'm not God. When it comes to his rules,
Yeah,
his rules,
sounds a
his
little
rules.
fishy. Sounds a
He
little
built the
fishy.
kingdom, like I said.
So
He
he
built the
either
setup,
he
so-
either had a really shitty plan or he's evil because he put some people in remote places where they will never hear about Christianity. That's a little evil to me. That's a lot evil to me.
That doesn't sound. Number one, it might be evil. I get that. Yeah, I mean, I'm a human being. I'm gonna not be angry with you, and I want to breathe and everything like that. I get kind of heated. I apologize for that. You do have a good point, but the problem is all this excuse about a God doing something to people that people are doing to themselves all the time, lying, stealing, killing. And we got
so
all this stuff, but you said,
I'm glad you brought that up.
He did all this stuff before, but he cleaned this earth.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up. What about things like natural disasters or the sun giving us cancer?
Well, that's human nature. That's a
No. We didn't create the Hold on. God created the sun. Did he just decide to throw that in there for funsies? Like we were going to get cancer and sometimes we'll have natural disasters that wipe us all out?
No, we supposed to sit out in the sun. How do you get skin cancer? By sitting in the sun.
Wait. What about people like that didn't have, what about people who just don't have shelter or can't find shelter? It's their fault and that they are sitting. And so God put something in our sky that gives us cancers and he wants us to hide from it.
No, he wants us to be practical, be wise with the tools and the capabilities that he gave us.
What about before sunscreen?
What about before we knew? What about before we knew that the sun could give you cancer? Before we knew that cancer existed, before we knew that sunscreen would help. What was the reason then?
People was living longer. So when it
No,
comes
they
to
did not.
old
No,
times,
they did
and
not. No, they did not.
yes,
No,
we
they did
did.
not. No, they did
Before the
not.
flood,
Our
human
our
beings
lifespan.
lived
No,
longer
no,
than
Cortez.
most
No,
human beings now
Cortez.
today.
No,
Yes, they
Cortez.
did.
No,
Yes,
no,
they did.
no,
Okay.
no,
I just
no, no. Okay. No. It drives me fucking crazy when people do this, and they do this specifically specifically when they talk about like vaccines and modern medicine and eating organic and stuff like that.
Mhm.
Eating organic, people ate organic forever and ever and ever, and the life expectancy has only ever gone up. Our
Right.
life expectancy has only ever gone up.
And
You can't really seriously tell me that you believe that the majority of people in biblical times were living to their 90s.
and I feel like I'm pretty sure the only Christians who believe that are people who take the Bible literally, because most people recognize a person doesn't live for hundreds of years, and we have no proof or evidence for that, FYI.
well,
I'm unmuting.
well,
Oh, there you are. Did you talk that whole time or did you hear us?
I heard y'all.
Okay. Wonderful. Our life expectancy over time has only ever gone up. So that is not true.
I disagree with you.
It's not, there's nothing to
Sick.
disagree with. It is just a fact.
I don't agree with you.
There is nothing to, there's nothing to disagree on.
I disagree with you. I don't. You can have
It's
your opinion. I
not,
disagree with you.
do you know what a fact is?
Well,
I don't agree with your fact. I don't
Are
agree
you-
with it. That's what
are
I'm
you a
saying.
young
I
Earth
don't.
creationist? Do you think the world is how old do you think the world is?
I don't know offhand. I'm not looking at a science book.
Okay. Do you
That is
think
clear.
evolution is
That is
fake as
clear.
well?
Please don't do in-harms to me, please. I didn't do
No,
nothing to
I'm
you
asking you a
when it
question.
came to in-harms.
I'm asking you a question.
No,
If
I'm
you
talking
believe
to
in
you. I'm talking about your other host that was kind of slick with her mouth. I'm not trying to do that. I'm being
Slick with
civil
my
with y'all.
mouth. Slick with my
I didn't
mouth,
hear
sir.
anything.
Sir, this is,
Yes.
first of all, our show. I can be slick with my mouth if I want to be, and you're not my fucking dad. So I don't need you to be
Okay.
reprimanding me. Thank you very much. Second of all,
All
you're
right,
telling
so
me you
if I'm proud with
you disagree with the fact that human beings have, our life expectancy has only gone up. You've made up a
I
fact,
disagree
and I'm supposed
with
to
your
concede to that.
fact.
And then you're telling me that you don't pay attention to science or you're not reading science. And I said, that is clear because I'm telling you a fact and you're telling me it's not
Just tell
true.
me your opinion.
It is not a fucking opinion. Do you understand the difference between an opinion and a fact?
I don't have your opinion right now looking at me. So how can I believe your opinion? Just because you said it's a scientific fact?
Cortez, it
I
is
don't know you lying.
2026. You have literally all of the world's information available to you, likely in the palm of your hand if you have a smartphone. You can look it up.
And I don't believe all the scientific information. They got males out here manipulating their own body
Oh
and
my
saying that it's okay.
Males.
Shut
Okay, I'm done
up.
with this call. Thank you so much, Cortez. The second you said males, I know that you are transphobic and sexist, and I don't really want to have this conversation anymore.
I have a opinion.
Goodbye. I'm dropping you.
Bye.
Holy fuck. Okay.
That
Anyway,
turned quick.
the second he said males, I said
I know.
bye.
Yeah.
Holy
Oh.
fuck, dude. That was crazy. And you know what? It's a shame because I very rarely get snarky with the people who call. But when I'm telling you it's a fact that people have only ever had their life expectancy go up and you go, I disagree. What the fuck are you talking about, actually?
Yeah. It's funny you say that because for the longest time when I was looking up when I first became an atheist, I was looking up debates between like scientists and young earth creationists. I mean, I'm sure most of you know this, but scientists do not debate them for this reason. Because like they'll give them proof and facts and they'll be like, nah. It's like
what do you like? There's nothing
no
to even
way.
debate.
Yeah, there's no way to have a conversation because you're living in literally two different realities.
Oof. That is crazy. Oh my God. And I like it, I very, very, very rarely just like hang up on people, but like I don't have the energy to do whatever
I feel
the
that.
fuck
I
that
also
is.
could not stop giggling for some reason, but it's cracking me up.
Because he was saying crazy stuff, and I also think that like maybe he was drunk.
I'm not sure.
And he was like a little slurry with his words. I don't know. Anyway. All right, so we do have a few theists on the line. Do you have a preference of which you would like to take?
Well, the one I'm not even sure if I can like
that first
have
one
a conversation with. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, I'm curious. Like this is so we have a caller who's asking like it sounds like an astronomy based question. So I don't know if this is something we're really qualified to talk about, but let's pull in Tom and we'll ask more questions about what he wants to talk about. Hi, Tom.
Hi.
Hi. How's it going? How's it going?
Real good, thanks.
Good. Okay. I'm going to give you a heads up now that we are not like super up on our astronomy, but so we might not be able to have this conversation, but describe what you want to talk about today.
So to get this started, I do believe in a concept of God, but I'm not really strong into the Bible. So we might disagree on the definition of God.
Okay.
But my background is looking for other forms of life. And the idea was back in the 90s that maybe possibly there would be life on Mars. And if we sent people or machines, we'd find signs of life on Mars. And that's been proven false. But the scientists who are looking for signs of life, extraterrestrial life, intelligent life, the James Webb Telescope and the Hubble Telescope, they called it the Goldilocks zone, where the planet would be in the perfect spot around the sun or star to support life. And in the last week, there's sort of giving up on that possibility. And so I wasn't sure if you knew of these changes in expectation and looking for life on other planets.
Unfortunately not.
I don't, but I'm curious what this Yeah, I'm curious. Like, I don't know that this is going to be much of a debate, but I am just curious about how does that connect to like a God claim to you?
So when I'm talking to college professors who teach evolution, they say intelligent design. There's another technical word for life on Earth. The question is, why is there just life on Earth? Fine-tuned. Why is the planet Earth finely tuned for all of this abundant life? But when astronomers use telescopes and they look at all the planets out there, millions and billions, they can't find any sign of life.
Well, I think part of it is because we've only discovered such a small fraction of space. But I also think, so it's possible that there is life farther out than we can explore at this time. So it'll be interesting to see over time if that changes. The other thing too is that it's kind of like what there has to be a phrase for how I describe this because I describe it the same way and it feels kind of silly, but the I don't know, therefore God thing,
God of the
where
gaps.
what is it?
God of the gaps. Is that me?
God the
Yeah,
gaps?
God of the
I've heard of
gaps.
that.
God of the gaps. That's good. Okay, yeah. So yeah, so like that sort of thing where even if, you know, this is the case that we are the only planet that was able to sustain life. Even though I don't think that's true. I think we found other planets that have been shown signs of life before, even if they're not currently able to sustain life. But we have so much of the universe to explore. So I think we just haven't found other life yet. And who knows, maybe they've found us. But I don't think that the answer then is a supernatural thing. It's like, well, why is the atmosphere perfect to make Mars what Mars is? Well, it's like kind of just the situation. It's where that rock ended up and where this, it's just circumstantial, I think, more than anything else.
Okay, thank you.
No problem, Tom. And actually, you might have a more interesting, like in-depth conversation talking to maybe Forrest, who I don't. Oh, he's on Forrest Valkai. He'll be on our show on Sunday at 7 p.m. Central Time, and you might have an interesting conversation with him because he's a biologist and he knows lots about this kind of stuff. So maybe call him then and see if he has anything fun to share.
It's this Sunday coming up at 7 p.m.
Yes. Yeah. And he's on the line all the time. So if you can't make it for this Sunday, he'll come back around.
Thank you. Have a nice night.
Thanks, you too. Bye-bye.
Thank you. I personally think about the fact that if there are sentient beings somewhere else, like in some other, galaxy, whatever, I feel like that to me also says that the God thing is obviously, well, there's obviously a lot of reasons religion is man-made, but I feel like that's even more so because what about sentient beings somewhere else? You know what I mean?
Right.
Like that wouldn't make a lot of sense. But I have seen Christians say already that if they do you know who Brittany Dawn is?
Wait, yes. Wait, is she that blonde girl? She had like a whole fitness scam.
Yes.
Obsessed.
Okay, so she makes
Yes.
like Christian content now.
Yes.
And her and like a lot of other people I've seen always say that if they did discover aliens, they are actually demons, so they would just reject them right away. So I already know what the response would be, but I just think it's interesting.
Yes, agreed. Also, people in the chat are saying that Aaron Adair would actually be better for that conversation. So, and Aaron is on Skeptalk. Oh, that was last week. Dang. Okay. Well, if our friend still is listening, anytime you see Aaron on a show, maybe hop on that one and have that conversation with him because apparently he would be even better at this. So there's lots of people on this channel that are better suited for a conversation about astronomy than like you and I think, unfortunately.
Definitely. Probably everyone.
Probably literally anyone else. But that's okay.
Oh yeah, I'm so fine with that. That's not my thing.
It's fine. It's not my lane. Okay, so I'm gonna just go through. We have only the next like 2 days worth of a schedule because we're still doing our February schedule. But tomorrow we have the hang up at 6 p.m. with Matt and Jovan, and we have TACIS on Thursday at 2 p.m. with Ben and Luxander, our very own. So that'll be a fun show. And someone later in the week will give a schedule for what's going on the following week. I'll be here on Tuesday. Will you be here next Tuesday?
I think so. Yeah.
Okay. Well, we'll be here. All right. We have two more theists who are waiting in the wings. Do you have a preference?
Probably just the one that has been waiting longer.
Okay, cool. Let's pull Denny in. Hello, Denny.
Hey, how are you guys doing?
Good. How are you?
Good. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, we can.
Okay. So
What do you
yeah,
want
I'm
to
a
talk about?
Christian, and I wanted to ask you guys, how would you define God, first of all?
Probably just some kind of higher power, some kind of entity of some kind, or powerful being.
Yeah, I think we both grew up
Mm-hmm.
with versions of a Christian God, right? So what the God that you read about in the Bible, all powerful, all knowing, uh, that sort of deal.
Mm-hmm. Well, because if you look at science, and I would say the Bible is some sort of science book, I would say that God is not a judge in the sky judging over us. I think He's the very ground of eternal being. So it lives in every single living thing has the potential and the actual divine spark of God. So I would say that you speak to me right now, you're carrying God inside of you.
Why do you feel that the Bible is a scientific book at all?
Well, the creation story has a lot of stuff matching with science and the Big Bang, except the billions of years and all that evolution nonsense. But like the singularity stuff, everything came from one source, which is God, is definitely matching.
Okay, so but
Wait.
just
God didn't create everything out of the same thing. He created like all things separately. What?
No, but before everything was the void, and God was the only thing, and He created everything from one thing.
Okay.
he created everything from one thing, but he's doing that in a supernatural way. Like he is this being that existed before anything existed, and then he's creating everything. That's not science. That's like a supernatural something.
Yeah, but you can analyze and detect and actually measure and get evidence for God. Like if you see nature and how everything works, fruits, vegetables,
No,
the
you
stars,
No,
can't.
you
everything
can't.
corresponds to
Explain
everything.
that to
Yeah.
us. Explain that to us more.
I'm trying, yeah. So everything has a mathematical pattern and everything has repetition. We can see a reflection of nature in our human anatomy, our human structure, the animals. Everything keeps repeating itself and works in a certain ways, walls, patterns, and mathematical formulas. So that indicates intelligent design by itself.
How does that indicate
No.
intelligent design? Like if why can't the answer just be that repetition in our genome is what created life just because it created life? Because without the repetition in the genome, life wouldn't exist. It just like is, it just is. Why does God have to be the person who creates it? Honestly, I would be maybe more convinced of a God if there wasn't such a order to things. Because if things in life were completely random and we couldn't trace back how we did this, and we can't figure out how plants grow and whatever, I'd be like, damn, maybe there is a God, because how the hell is all this happening? But we do have answers. We do understand evolution, and we understand how things grow, and we understand like things on a cellular level. So to me, that feels like evidence that nature is following a pattern that allowed it to grow. Like that's the reason why.
Yeah, and if we follow the evolution bias narrative, we see random chaos, and random chaos never produces symmetry, proportion, like self-repair, development. Random chaos would never do all these things.
So you don't believe in evolution at all?
No, I have evidence against it. I have studied thousands
So I
of
have a
fossils.
question. How do you feel about the fact that there are certain things in evolution we have witnessed like within a lifetime, like the peppered moth thing, where they were watching peppered moths in an area that was getting a lot of pollution, and the peppered moths slowly started becoming all one color that survived the best? You don't think animals adapt to their surroundings for better survival? You don't think the ones with genes that benefit their survival have the offspring that survive the most, therefore it dominates the species? Like, you don't believe that?
No, there is adaptation, but it's not through the billions of timeline or like the big timeline. They say billions of years.
So would you say
That's
you
just
believe
not
in
possible.
microevolution?
No, it's more like young Earth, like 10,000-year-old Earth or something.
If you believe animals adapt to their environment, you do believe in evolution. I know you don't want to say that you do, but you do. And if you believe in evolution in those small areas, what do you think happens over a lot, like many, many years?
That's what they supposedly say, those millions of years, which we have no evidence of. Because if we look at fossils, they look exactly the same as they did before now, like 500 million years ago, turtles, bees, plants, insects. If you look at them today, they have exactly the same structure, skeleton system, everything is the same.
That's just not true. You can see in the evolution of humans, like we have skeletons and that literally track how humans changed and adapted. We have literal evidence of it, like multiple museums full of literal evidence, people who study evolution for their entire lifetime. So I'm confused as to how you can deny that to be true.
There's just no way that the stuff they're saying is true. The billions of years, there's just no evidence. And if you have evidence, I would like to research it, get the study. You know, like
you're asking me for evolution, for evidence of evolution.
No, like I'm saying to back up your claims, because you're saying museums and people dedicating their lives, but that's just words. Like I can say the same against it.
Are there? Okay, so I know of exactly one museum in the United States that is a creationist museum, and it is the most batshit crazy thing I've ever seen in my life. When they're like, you know, Bill Nye the Science Guy. I know he's like he does TV and whatever now, but he is a scientist. That is his job. He went and walked around and confirmed that none of it is real. There are so many pieces of evidence for evolution that I actually am not sure where to direct you to first. Perhaps like a middle school, and I don't mean to say this in like a derogatory way. It's in like middle school textbooks.
Mm-hmm. Yes,
so
to give an example, some kind of creationist museum and Bill Nye the Science Guy, which still is just like, oh, this guy went there and said that, you know. But like, I agree, this creationist museum could be just some bullshit, you know. That doesn't mean anything. We're looking at real evidence, data, history, fossils. That's what the stuff we're supposed to look, not museums, not Bill the Science Guy or whatever.
Wait, so if you don't believe in regular science, you don't believe in the creation museum science, it's not science, but pseudoscience, then where the hell are you getting this from? You're just reading the Bible and you're like, sounds good?
No, the Bible, I wouldn't say have anything to do with evolution. I would say fossils is the main deal that convinced me.
Fossils convinced you that evolution is not real.
Yes, by themselves. Even other stuff, but mainly fossils.
How could you say that when, if we look at fossils, we can see the development of species over time? I don't understand. Because that's what evolution is.
Denny,
and you said you agree with that.
Denny, do you believe in gravity?
Yes. I mean, it's not about what I believe, it's what I know in fact. So I think gravity is a fact.
Gravity is okay. There is more evidence for evolution than there is for gravity. So if you believe that gravity is a fact, or that you agree with the theory of gravity, then you should be able to also agree with the theory of evolution. And if you are unable to do that or unwilling to do that, that is some cognitive dissonance on your part. And you should just do a little research, because I can promise you the amount of evidence for evolution is absolutely massive. Someone in the chat mentioned the Discovery Institute website. Have you been on there before?
I don't think so.
Okay, interesting. I'm gonna look into that. Thank you so much, chat. Anyway, that is just not. I don't even know where to go from this.
My one question is, if the dating of like rocks and fossils and stuff, if so many people agree on how they date things, why is that? If that's not true at all, how did they all like come to the same conclusion?
Well, it's like when you go to school and they say some stuff and you learn them, it's like repeating to the next and just keep repeating the same stuff you hear, but never actually like investigating and studied. And you said that gravity has more evidence than
that's exactly hold on. I'm going to stop you right there.
evolution.
That's exactly what science is investigating. They don't. Do you notice how like when we discover stuff through science, the science can change over time the more we discover things? Science has never been like the Bible, where you're given one thing and it stays one thing the whole time. Science is not like that. We make new discoveries and then we adjust accordingly. So what you're saying isn't making sense. Because we're also evolving with the knowledge that we have and the science that we have.
Yeah. Why would you say we have more evidence for evolution than gravity? That's like saying we have more evidence
because
for
we have
Julius Caesar
we have so many different areas.
Yeah.
Because we have so many different areas of science to look at to confirm that evolution is real. We can look at DNA, we can look at fossil records, we can look at other short-living species, we can look at taxidermy. There are so many other ways to confirm that it's true.
And Denny, how do you date things? Have you went out, like chat said this, have you went out and done your own research? Again, like how do you know what you're saying is true?
It's just based on the study of fossils, how they compare to like 100 million years ago. It's just studying fossils prioritized, and that by itself proves it, like debunks evolution.
Wait, so you're saying so you're just saying you reject the science, but you have nothing to replace it with, and you have no nothing to put there into, like you're like, yeah, all of that isn't real. That's it. There's no, I think it's something else.
There's very specific, like geology can prove also evolution is not true. Many subjects and categories can disprove evolution.
It literally can't.
Denny, I also have another question. If you have like a serious illness or disease or whatever, are you going to go to the doctor?
It really depends, because doctors, they keep you addicted to drugs. We don't like drugs. We like medicine, like real medicine.
If you broke your freaking arm, are you going to the doctor? If it's your life on the line, are you going to go to the doctor? You're just going to die.
I would get an opinion from the doctor. I wouldn't trust him 100%, just get an opinion.
Why do you trust him at all? Why do you trust any science at all?
Well, that's right. You shouldn't. I agree. You shouldn't.
So what do you trust exactly? So what do you trust?
I trust real medicine. 300 years ago, the real medicine was herbs, fruits, and the diet. That's the real medicine. Food from God.
Okay.
Every disease has a solution: a vegetable, a fruit, an herb, a plant. Every disease has a solution.
So how do you feel about how our life expectancy has drastically improved?
We have evidence of people living above 200 years in the past, 1,000 years.
No, we don't.
Where?
No, we don't.
Where can I find that? Where can I find that besides the Bible?
In the 1800s, there is newspaper studies, discoveries of bigger skeletal systems. We have evidence of historical people who are incredibly tall.
Can you tell us where to find that? Like actually, like a website of like scientists telling you this, or like what? Like who's telling you this?
Yeah, just like I asked you guys, can you provide evidence for evolution? You guys didn't provide a study. Why do you expect me to provide a study?
Denny, do you remember when you literally just admitted that animals adapt to their surroundings? That is literally you telling me you believe in evolution, because that's what evolution is.
That's also, if the Earth is 10,000 years old, evolution is not true.
That doesn't make sense.
Hold on. If I even just simply Google is there evidence of a person living to 200 years old? Not a single thing comes up. If I just simply Google, is there evidence of evolution? You can find many academic and scientific resources to show this to be true. You have decided that science isn't real, so I don't think that I can help you, Denny, especially because you have decided that a book that was written by many of the books are written by secondhand, at a minimum, a secondhand retelling of a story. And some of the stories of the Bible were written hundreds of years after the events allegedly happened. So you believe that over scientists who will do research in which the goal is to prove their theory wrong. I don't know if you know that when scientists do research, their goal is to prove their theory wrong. So they will do everything they possibly can to prove their theory wrong. So if something has been decided to be an accepted theory, they cannot prove it wrong.
Yeah,
But you believe, a book that was
Yeah.
written, but you believe a book that was written by people who were not there hundreds of years after these events allegedly happened.
Not as much as people being close to the actual date.
Denny, do you believe science has worked in the past? That's such a
Yeah,
question.
It's just a lot of science is indoctrination and narratives which they push, and they're not true.
So how
That's
do
the
you
whole
decipher which is which? How do you decipher which is which?
You just gotta study yourself. You cannot trust research.
Okay,
you have to
cannot trust
study
scientists.
yourself.
You gotta.
Denny.
So what do people gain by trying to convince you that things are older than you think they are? What is everybody gaining from this?
They're just listening to what they tell them. It's not about gaining. It's how the system works. You go to
You
university. You
just said that some people are just trying to like manipulate you or whatever. Why? What's the point? What are they gaining by getting you to believe the Earth is a certain amount of years old? What do they gain? What's the point?
That's the higher ups. That's not the universities. That's the people above, like the elite.
Okay,
and stuff.
cool.
The higher
What's the
ups.
point?
What do they
What's
gain?
the point? What do they gain?
Yeah. So they make you feel like you're a random monkey spinning on a rock to
Oh my
space,
God.
and that you have no purpose in life. Everything is random. You have nothing
Wait,
to
Denny.
hope for. There's
What
no
about
purpose.
wait? What about the fact that there are a bunch of atheists who believe in evolution and they give themselves purpose? I feel I give myself purpose every day. What about that? Because that disproves your narrative.
The specific purpose why we are here, born on Earth, living conscious beings. Why? What's the real purpose? Not your purpose. The real purpose.
I think the only purpose is my purpose. I think the only purpose is the purpose we give ourselves. So what?
No.
Yes, that's all we have proof for. You can feel differently, but there's no proof of a soul. There's no proof of a soul, so I'm not going to just. There's no proof of a soul, so I'm not just going to assume it's real because I feel like it or it makes me feel better.
There is scientific proof of the soul, yes.
What? Why are you believing that science? Why are you believing that science? They're probably trying to manipulate you into believing in an afterlife.
You want the evidence for a soul? You don't know that?
Yeah, go ahead, tell me. I'm so interested to hear about this.
If you don't cut me off respectfully,
Yep, go ahead.
So the heart, you can Google this research, the heart emits a bioelectric field, which is measurable and is surrounding the body. It's like an aura. So this aura is affected by every human being. When you come in contact with your friend, family, this changes your aura. This aura is considered a soul because the heart is not a pump. The heart can be unwrapped, and the heart has an electricity inside. It pumps a bioelectric field which surrounds the human body. It's called the electromagnetic field of the body.
So does the outlet in my wall.
No, it's the heart. The heart emits the strong signal. It's like a radio.
Wait, so why does that prove we have a soul? I don't understand that.
I just proved
just
it. You can look it up as well.
No, you didn't just prove it. You just said that's a soul. That didn't do anything. I don't understand how that proves a soul.
That is, yeah. As Lux, our producer, said that
you think a soul is a magical thing.
If you're basing a soul on electromagnetic fields, then the fact that we can plug something into, like, our outlets also emit electromagnetic shit. There's no soul in my outlet.
But you created the outlet. We didn't create the heart. You get it?
Denny, I'm going to be
So
so
what?
honest. I think
I love
that
you guys.
you are in a place where there is nothing that we could really say that will change your mind. I think that it is, I don't think, I know that you can very easily do some Googling and reading to see that evolution is the best theory that we have, and it is a well-accepted theory, proven by many fields.
And you already believe in it.
And you already believe in it. And I also just want to say it drives me a little bit bananas when people talk about doing their own research, because true research and the research that we refer to when we have a well-accepted theory is done in such a thorough way that it's respectfully laughable to say you did your own research, because no, you didn't. You Googled and read something, which is not research. So I would encourage you to just look at the other side of the coin, because I think you will find something interesting there. You can call, on Mondays, we do a show called Skeptalk, and we have people on that show, specifically hosts on that show, who work in biology, who work in evolution, work with evolution as part of their job. So I would recommend giving them a call, because they might be able to have more thorough discussions with you about evolution and the evidence that we have.
That would be cool. I would like to join there. Yeah, that would be nice.
Okay, yeah. Call on Mondays, and especially if Erica or Forrest are on, they're the two people who would be really interesting for you to have a conversation with.
Yeah. Can I have some last words?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. You said that there's nothing that can change my position, and I feel like that's true for you guys more than me. Because whatever people say, you guys have the same narrative. You don't change your mind, never, or you're never like being open-minded, researching topics. I would say you guys have specific narrative trying to push or they're trying to speak to, which I was open-minded. I was an evolutionist. I didn't believe in God, and now I switched.
Wait, I used to be
So
a
I
young
made
Earth
this giant
creationist.
switch.
I used to. Everything you just said is false. I used to believe what you believed.
Really?
Yes.
Join back the club.
Up until
We
a
miss
couple
you.
years ago, no less.
Yeah, like literally 3 years ago, a little more than 3 years ago. I don't know, something like that.
Wow, that's unfortunate.
I think it's fortunate, but differing opinions, I guess.
Well, thank you, Denny, for calling. Call back on a Monday for Skep Talk, and I think you'll have a really interesting conversation with the people who host that show.
Thank you so much, guys, and have a good night. You look awesome, by the way.
You too. Bye-bye. What did he say?
I don't know.
I think he said you look awesome. I don't know.
Okay.
I feel bad. I feel like I was being a little mean to him, but
you're very
also,
giggly today, and I'm loving it.
I know. I kind of hate that I'm being like that. No, but it just is. I think I almost get triggered nowadays when people are just reject reality. But I try and remember that, you know, obviously at one point I believed what he believed, but I also don't feel like I was that passionate about it. Like, I just, you know what I mean? I think that I was like that because I didn't ask questions and I didn't look into anything. That's why it's kind of crazy to me that people do look into it and they're like, yes, I still don't believe in evolution. And then so many times when we talk to these people, I ask them if they believe in animals like adapting to their environment, and they always say yes. And so they always say they believe in evolution, but they don't believe that it happens over long periods of time. It's very weird.
It is weird. It doesn't make any sense. And I think again, it's like the doing your own research is just, it makes me want to ram my head into concrete because no, you didn't. You didn't do research. You didn't. And to really truly come up here and say that there's not enough evidence to show that evolution is proven to be, you know, the best theory that we have or proven to be true is just ignorant and like
If
what
the way he
Sorry.
said science never changes and we say the same thing always, I'm like, that is such a joke. I don't even know how to respond to that because that's literally the like the opposite
just not true.
goal. I don't know. It's so annoying. Anyways.
Okay. Well, we have one more caller that we'll take before we go into super chats. So if you would like to send your super chats for this show this evening, please make sure you get them in now. Your super chats go to help support our show, but also all the other shows on the line. And so if you love the work that we do here on this channel, please make sure you get a super chat in, and we would love to read the silly things that you share with us. So super chats of $5 or more, send them now. Thank you so much. We love you. All right, we're gonna pull in, I think, Elo. We'll ask and confirm the pronunciation, but calling from the UK. Hello there.
Hi.
It's Elo,
Hi.
Elo, it doesn't really matter.
Okay.
Well, you tell us what you
was
prefer.
it, Elo?
Oh, Elo is fine. Thank you.
Okay. Cool. Okay. What did you want to talk about today?
Okay, I want to talk about that modern day atheists don't understand Christianity. I also want to talk about, just to quickly mention, and I'm not trying to be rude or anything, this is strictly logic. The last caller was trolling. It was so obvious. His script is so unoriginal. You could tell his last question was a bait question because he didn't really want to go. It's completely fallacious and very contradictory. Oh, I go to the doctor sometimes, but you get all your health from fruit. Then why go to the doctor anyway?
Right.
I'm shocked that you guys actually thought he was being legit.
He was not a troll. I have people in my life who legitimately believe just like him and say these same exact things. It's unfortunate, but these people exist. They're like, I know them personally. It's unfortunate, but no, he was not a troll. I have these conversations with people in my real life.
Okay,
it's
no,
sad
because I've met people like old friends of mine that will purposely pretend that they don't know, just to farm people's responses. And I feel engaging with them just fuels their narcissistic fuel.
It's so crazy because every time we get even sometimes in chat, people will be like, "Oh, this is a troll." In my head, I'm always like, I don't understand the purpose of a troll. Why spend your day doing that?
Yeah, I do understand there are trolls, but also I think that the whole rejecting science and young Earth creationism thing is very, very American coded. Like that's very much an American movement thing happening. And it's just unfortunate, but it sounds like a joke. It sounds like a troll. I wish it was, but unfortunately it's not.
We'll hope it was a troll. We'll all hope and pray that it was a troll but I don't, who knows? We won't ever really know. But anyway, I'm more interested in what you called about because,
okay, perfect.
Yeah, that's more interesting to me.
Right. So I believe that modern day, and this is going to sound a little confusing, but I promise I can logically lay it all out. I believe that modern day Christians are either two things: willfully ignorant, so they know it's bullshit, but they just pretend, or are being deceptive because they want to protect this cult while knowing it's wait, hold on, let me say it. So it's either two of two things. They're either they don't understand it, they're uneducated, they haven't looked deeper into it, so they're part of a cult. Or number two, they know it's bullshit, but they're just acting. So that's my two arguments. Well, right. So you're probably thinking that why did he say? So I think atheists don't understand that even debating Christians on their belief system is allowing them to speak nonsense into the world that's so untrue. and I believe most of them know it's not true, but they're just doing it because it's they're subscribed to a club, and it's how they, some of them pay their bills. And then I think someone is willfully ignorant, but they want to back it up because they think that, I'm going to stay in my little group and it's safer. I think modern day atheists look at they subscribe to this idea that, we're going to debate religious people, and we're going to listen to what they say, and we're going to try to correct them, even when they push back illogically, which you can tell they're being deceptive to protect their religion, or they're just stupid. But most people aren't that stupid. Most people are just willfully ignorant. So even debating and not just blanking them completely is a form of giving them power, so some more stupid people can fall for what they say. Now, I don't know if that fully was laid out as best as possible. Now, sorry, are you still there?
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. So I just want to clarify. Are you saying that the atheists are debating to pay their bills, or the people who are calling in?
No, I think the atheists are calling to educate the people, but I think they're misunderestimating the deception that Christians have for their own belief, and are giving them an opportunity to spew garbage that spreads across the world, unless they're trying to limit in it and just saying, listen, you're wrong, these are the facts, and stop being deceptive and making stupid people fall for your stuff. It's so obvious and provable that 90% of Christians don't even believe what they're saying.
I don't think that's
so
true. I think a lot of Christians do believe what they're saying.
So are you? So is your position? Is your position? Is it your position that this 90% that you're talking about is of the callers? Like 90% of the people who call in don't believe the things that they're saying to us?
I think everyone, calling or just your local Joe. Well,
okay. So have you ever heard of the no true Scotsman fallacy before? That's like a pretty well-known fallacy that you'll say, well, you're not a real Christian. And it's like, well, what is a real Christian, and how is it just for you to judge the what another person is saying that they believe? They're telling me they believe in God. They're telling me they believe in Jesus. And for what it's worth too, sometimes I think about doing these calls and having people call in, and it's like, the people who do call in are not, it's not like we're going to Cambridge and having a debate with oh wait, I hear myself. Elo, do you mind muting? However, it's okay. I was trying to stay on task, and I was like, I think that's me. But I understand that we're not going to do an academic debate for most of the people who call, but the people who call are a representation of this belief, and they really do believe this, and they are the ones who are taking it upon themselves to call us. It's not like we're reaching out to them. They have such conviction in their belief that they really believe that they have the answer for why God is real, or why we're wrong, or whatever.
Yeah, I believe that is true for the minority. I think
the minority
that are delusional. Yeah, the minority that actually do believe. And I think, and I'm not judging them based on just saying hey, they're just stupid. I think that they're not stupid, but they're being purposely dishonest. So my example I'll give is, I'm not judging them from I dislike them, which I do because they're deceptive. But I'm judging them because I'm judging them based on evidence. So let me just put my ego aside, and let me put my bias aside. If I just look at the evidence, where does the evidence lie? In their language. Their language itself shows you how much they don't believe. For example, you had that weird call 3 calls ago, the one who was being, I think he was just, I don't know. But the point I'm making is, he was saying that you asking the question, do you believe in hell? He goes, well, according to the Bible says so. he's not even saying he believes it. If you really believe in something, you just go, yes, I believe you're going to go to hell. But the fact that he has to reference the Bible means he psychologically deep down knows that it doesn't make sense and knows that it's immoral. Because anybody who generally believes in something doesn't have to refer to something else. Like, nobody says, oh, do you like tea? Well, according to Wikipedia, humans typically like tea.
Mhm.
It's a fallacy.
So I hear what you're saying. I will say that using our callers as a way to demonstrate how modern day atheists don't understand Christianity, I don't know if that's really fair. I don't think it is fair, because most of the
Where's the
hosts
evidence?
on the line were religious at some point, and many of them were like fundamentalists in evangelical churches. Like, they were very, very deeply involved in their churches, in their religions. And so I don't know. Our belief is not based off of, or our lack of belief rather, is not based off of what the callers are sharing with us. It's based off of what we believe to be true from our own lived experiences, or like our own, really our own lived experiences.
Okay, but I would even disagree with that. So you're telling me that you used to be a believer?
I was not super sold on it ever. Taylor more
Yeah, I
so
was.
than myself.
Well, yeah, that's exactly it. Most people claim, like, to say, "Oh, I used to be a Christian because I used to study it," or
But I'm not claiming
practice
that.
become a.
I'm not claiming that.
Okay, first of all, I did believe in God. I believed in Jesus, so I consider myself a Christian. I'll be completely honest, I do not care if you consider that being a Christian or not, because there are thousands upon thousands of Christians who disagree with each other on what a true Christian is. So when I talk about being a Christian, how I used to be a Christian, someone says, "No, you weren't," because a lot of times people don't like the evangelicalism that's going on in the United States, rightfully so. It's a hot mess. I don't really care what people. I agree with you. I don't really care if people consider that to be real Christianity, because it's something real that I like, that affects my life, that affects our country, that I actually believed in. So call it whatever you want, but I genuinely believed it was true. And I genuinely believe the whole story about Jesus Christ. So you can be like, well, you didn't believe the right details or whatever, or right politics or whatever, but like, call it what you want. I don't think it really matters.
Okay, well, maybe I'm just stupid and I'm misunderstanding it, but I don't know, because from my experience, growing up, Christian, I never actually fully believed in it. It was like, yeah, I pretend to believe in it because that's what everyone else says, but behind the scenes, I can laugh at any Christian joke. And the point I'm making is that I typically feel like in just normal language, you can kind of suss out, like, when someone says, well, if someone doesn't want to directly answer the question, would you agree that they say the Bible says so without saying they say so? Like, they're like putting it all on the Bible because they generally don't really agree with it. It's like a way out.
I think they're putting it on the Bible because they're indoctrinated to believe that the Bible is like the only direct contact we have from God. So they're always going to use that. Like, in the United States, there's a lot of fundamentalists that think the Bible is literal, like it's the literal word of God, and that's all they have to go off of. So I feel like it's natural that they refer to the Bible all the time. Otherwise, they wouldn't even have these opinions in the first place without the Bible.
Interesting, but just to mention about how I might actually be stupid, I might be misunderstanding it from my own worldly bias, is because I don't think you're
stupid as far as like what I think that from what I've understand, the Christian culture in the United States right now is very different compared to a lot of places where it's like its own breed of religion that people are. So it's, I mean, it's scary, but it's just such its own thing. I don't know.
Well, I refuse to say that all of these people that are convicted, don't go on TV and hold up a Bible, and and all the ones that are convicted with sexual assault, like Russell Brand, typically, they never ever go on Twitter and hold up a Bible and all of a sudden talk about how they turn into Christ. That never happens, of course. Why would it? You know what I mean? Because that would mean that they're just using it to cover up their wrongdoings. Of course,
I agree with that.
Such a thing.
Yeah, I think there are a lot of people who use it to gain power or whatever and followings. Like, I believe that about Donald Trump, but I think that the people they're taking advantage of really believe it. Is what I'm trying to say.
A real Christian. I mean, of course
you do think that Donald Trump is a real Christian?
Of course. I mean, he only cheated on his 3 wives and separates families.
You scared me for a second.
Takes women's rights away. Of course he's a Christian.
I was so nervous for a second. I was like, well, now we need to have a whole other conversation. Okay. Anyway.
Sorry, go ahead.
Well, Jesus was a straight up capitalist. He didn't believe in socialism. He loved people selling stuff at church, of course.
Yeah. Well, okay. So if
anyone disagrees, it's just a liberal.
Well, so let's say that this is true, that the people who call in are not real Christians. What does that mean for you? Like so you originally called with the conversation of modern day atheists don't understand Christianity. But many of the people on this channel were very deeply involved in their churches. So, and in the faith.
Let me ask you a question. But do you generally believe they would 100% believe? Now, the answer could be yes. Do you not think there was a little bit of performance? I always say this, and I may sound completely stupid, but I'm only saying this because I've met people, right, who my grandparents, and I'll say, this is actual evidence that contradicts what you're thinking, and I know they know I'm right, but they will completely say, put that away, don't you dare talk about that here, look in front, you know what I mean, and stop looking behind you. They will immediately abolish what they know to be true just to keep the performance up. So when I saw that, I said, you know what? From my experience, I feel like all of them are like that. Maybe people are generally believers, but I've shown Christians actual evidence against the Bible, and they will just want to just keep me quiet rather than engaging because they're just trying to keep this performance act up because of family tradition or whatever. So I honestly believe, and maybe I'm wrong, that most Christians are just performance actors, and that's why even when you give them real data that they're not that stupid, and because some of them are quite smart, that they're manipulating the conversation. You just know it, you can feel it. Forget about feelings because just look at the words they use. I mean, I don't know, maybe I'm crazy, but I think that's pretty accurate. It's performance acting. I mean, how many of the debates do you watch where the Christian knows his religion's garbage, but he's defending it because of tradition, because of all these other points of interest?
Okay, so I would agree that there are a lot of people, maybe famous people or people who make a lot of money that could be grifting and whatever and lying. But I think
all of them.
I don't believe that. I think the typical Christian believes what they're saying, but it's not that they're stupid. It's not the bottom line is it's not just about truth. It's also their entire identity. It's their entire belief system. It's their everything. It's who they are. So it's going to be way easier. It's easier for us to for me, it's easy to change my opinion on something if I learn about the science changed or whatever, because that's not my identity. My opinion isn't my identity. It's not who I am. But if you're also indoctrinated into something, we have studies too to show that, in fundamentalist religion, if you're raised in that and the entire time and then you grow up, as an adult, you have a really hard time processing new information because that's the entire point is they don't want you to be able to process new information. They shove things down your throat like no other opinion is rational, every other opinion is of this world and from Satan, so I think it's just from severely heavy indoctrination. But I agree that there are grifters online, but I think the Christians that believe it and don't want to hear about it is because, number one, they're maybe afraid to question, but number two, I think that they could just think what they were told when they were younger, which any contradicting information is from a bad place, is from Satan, is from, the secular world that you shouldn't be listening to. I know that's the number one thing that the big evangelicals in the United States say. They say that this is just like not of God, and that's why you shouldn't listen to it. And that's what I
100%.
think.
And but I think we give them, the Christians, more credit than they deserve, therefore giving them more, therefore them being able to harm people more. Now, for an example, like, I actually love Aaron. I think it's Aaron. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Arden?
Is it Aaron Ra or something? Yeah. I love him because, he's just a straight stud. I mean, he goes on these debates. He says, "You're wrong. Your religion's fairy tales," and then he never debates them again. He says he only typically does a debate once with like the same person, and then he will not debate them again because he, like, for example, he did. I forgot his name. There's that thing. Yeah.
My thing is, I understand what you're saying, but we did not base our lack of belief based on the people who call this show. Like, I did not believe in God way before I started having these conversations with people, so much so that, like, I mean, that's not really, like, I'm a sex educator. I'm here for the purity culture conversations more than I am to, like, debate the Bible. I don't really care. And I also I'm not trying to deconstruct a person who doesn't want to be deconstructed or who didn't call me. Like, for instance, my parents are Christian. I have not and will not ever have a conversation with them to try and make them not believe in their faith because I don't care. But when people call in and they want to have the conversation, then, like, yeah, my job is to poke holes in it. But my lack of belief in God and in the Bible, etc., like, all of that was way before we started doing this show.
Okay, I understand what you're saying. You're saying your motive isn't to change anyone's mind. It's just to speak from what you believe, and if they change their mind, that's up to them and how they process information. Actively. Okay. Maybe I got confused. I kind of thought you guys were like Aaron, and you're like activists and like trying to get people to, as he would say, fix people.
Well, no, I mean, some people aren't, and that's their prerogative. Like, you're allowed to advocate for whatever you want. I personally just, like, don't really care what people believe as long as it doesn't infiltrate other areas of life. Like, you're in the UK, but I'm sure that you're seeing right now, like, how much Christian nationalism has shown up in the government and created some really terrifying effects for us in the US. So it's things like that.
These people are idiots. They don't know who they voted for. They're all brainwashed by cult leaders.
Right. But I don't care if somebody. Yeah, like, if somebody believes in God and that's their prerogative. I'm not trying to convince you that that's not real. But if you call in and you tell me that you have proof, then we'll go back and forth and I'll ask you questions and we'll see where we get.
But I think I truly believe there is an effect behind it all because you say, like, as long as they're not harming people with their beliefs, but by nature, they are going to harm people with their beliefs. Every Christian votes, and they vote based on fantasy land. And they're going to be more likely to vote on a fantasy character because everyone knows with a brain that Trump isn't a real person. Look at the way he speaks. Look at the way he presents himself. It's all scripted. It's all just a complete act, performance art. And anybody with the Bible is more likely going to pick the performance artist because they used to believe in fairy tales. So every person who listens and understands that they're, except the troll, like the last caller. I mean, total bait questions, not interested in changing his mind because I already know he's an atheist. I already know he's just trolling. But it's just so obvious. I mean, the last question the bait question. Come on, seriously, get a new script.
I've talked about this stuff a lot on my other social media platforms because of what you just said. Of it affects how people vote. It affects how they treat other people. It affects like the oppression of other people. For me, it's just important to show other people that it's okay to question it and come out of it. And that you can, there is another side. There's like life after religion, essentially. And the reason I value these conversations is because I was watching a shit ton of these conversations whenever I started to become atheist. So I know that there's value in them because they were valuable to me. But yeah, I just heavily disagree that most Christians are lying. I think a lot of people are telling the truth. And I also know it doesn't feel good to me when they tell me I'm lying. So like, I don't know if it was the caller before that, when they said that I'm lying about not being able to force myself to believe in God. I don't ever tell them they're like lying as far as like deep down beliefs they have, because what's the point? Like it doesn't, you can't have a conversation with them. You're dismissing them. Even people who tell me they have an experience with God. Do I think that really happened? No. Am I going to tell them they're lying? No, because what if they actually believed they had that experience? I don't think I get a lot out of assuming everybody is lying. I think they're indoctrinated.
But do you not believe that it's like, do you not believe if someone's presented evidence that they reject so blatantly and so stupidly that they are not being a fraud? Like, do you think? No, I explained to you. I
explained to you earlier how in indoctrination they demonize any outside information, and that's what it is. And there are scientific studies showing that if you're raised up in fundamentalism, it is really hard for your brain to take in new information. It is by design to not accept information outside of your circle of religion. It's not stupidity. It's not them being like, I don't know. It's not them like trying to trick you. I think they genuinely believe, a lot of them, obviously I'm talking in general terms here, that they think outside information is like not of God. So they're not going to listen to it because they've been indoctrinated that way.
Fascinating. But like, I don't know. It's hard for me to fully, break it all down like that, because I feel like, I remember following this one Christian YouTuber. He's such an idiot. Like, he goes into like Fortnite and teaches kids about the Bible, which he shouldn't be doing. There's like white songs around him. But I follow him just because it was kind of like, the content was so stupid that it was like, I have to watch how it was like watching a train wreck. And what was interesting is he went from teaching into liberals are mad that I'm going into games and teaching about Fortnite, and you can see the switch between where you can tell that he no longer believes, but because he's already in that circle, he's just going to stick with it. Like, once the Christian no longer believes, a lot of them will just stick with it because it's funny to make people mad, or I'm already a part of the circle, and we're the winner circle, and they will just stay on that side. I believe that to be the case with most Christians.
I think we can't compare like big creators to the common Christian. I think that doesn't work for a lot of reasons. But I also want to say that in the United States, their politics and their religion, especially amongst evangelicals, they're so intertwined that there is no difference. It's not like their politics and then their religion. They're Christian nationalists, which means two identities are mixed together. They're nationalism, like how loyal they are to their nation, and then how loyal they are to their religion. It's like a big ugly hybrid, but it's so intertwined, and that's why they end up making more of the own the Ljubs content, because that's what Donald Trump has created on the right with the evangelicals. And yes, he uses them. Yes, they like fall for all of his stupid bullshit, but I still don't think that, I do think there are a lot of grifters in the right-wing space, don't get me wrong, but I also think there are a lot of Christians that now their politics and religion are so intertwined, there is no difference to them. Politics is their religion half the time.
And I also
Okay,
think
but what?
it's kind of like what's the point of going back and forth with if someone is a real Christian or not a real Christian. They're living the life and they're following the doctrine and they believe that they're Christians. So who like I won't ever be able to know for sure if they are or if they aren't. And like what's the point of trying to prove whether they are or they aren't?
Well, I think it is important to try and prove if they are on it, or if they are or they aren't or aren't. I think words they're hard, but because it's like once you have too much um openness and empathy, it ends up smacking everyone right back in the face that has a functioning brain, which sounds ignorant, and I guess it is. So I apologize to all the Christians out there, because look at this. We're so empathetic. We feel the need to not correct them, and then what do? They vote for a fascist, and all of a sudden there's a giant fascist regime. You have to correct them. If they come back and are willfully like, oh no, I just believe. At what point does that excuse their ignorance? It's like if somebody attacks someone because of their ignorance and they're really a good person, at what point does that become a real problem? It's like, oh well, he didn't know what he was doing was wrong. Like for example, it's like at what
Yeah.
point does that ignorance start causing so many problems that we have to start educating the people? So
Yeah.
I think that's my argument, is that atheists don't understand that
I
the right wings playing
I agree with
playing the
like
dark side. Sorry, go.
I agree with like huge grifters that like I think there can be times where it's appropriate to be like you're literally using Christian, like that you're using Christians, like how we see specific people do that. It's very obvious they don't subscribe to what they're saying that they believe. I do understand that like on bigger levels, but I
Like Voldemort.
I understand what you're saying about it doesn't excuse them like voting for Trump and supporting what they do. I don't think it excuses it. I just think it's more complex than, oh, they do this because they're like bad people. But I think, do I think some of them are bad? Yeah. Do I think some of them are super hateful and bigoted? Yes. Do I think some of them are brainwashed and indoctrinated? Also, yes. So to me, it's just such a complex issue that there's so many different things in play, because the hard thing for me is I know some of these people, and it's very, very hard because I know them as a human before this stuff came about, and then I knew them after it came about. And I know that they're not like the most hateful, vile human being, but you're right at the same time where I'm like, okay, at what point are you just a shitty person for like you do this over and over and over again and justify things that are worse and worse and worse? I do understand that. I just think it's a complex issue when it comes to that.
But I think, and I don't like to call it a problem, but I think it is with a lot of people on the left, including myself. Well, not myself in terms of like I'm saying I'm on the left, but people on the left. I think a lot of problems with people on the left is that they have too much empathy for what I would call the enemy. And I know that sounds very like militaristic, like it's two teams against each other. But the point I'm making is that it's like you seen it, like you have this humane viewpoint of
Taylor,
like,
you're muted.
They're not doing it because I am.
Oh, I'm good.
No, Taylor was me. Oh, sorry. I moved to the YouTube. Sorry. I'm so sorry, Yellow. I like totally interrupted you. I moved to the screen where like our chat was, but the video is going and it's delayed. And then I was like, oh, she's just talking and I can't hear her. I'm so sorry. I didn't even realize.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah. Go ahead.
Okay, awesome. So the point I'm making is that I love a lot of the people on the left. The right people, I don't really like them because of like their bigotry. But the point is that I understand a lot of people on the left are very empathetic towards people they know because they understand that they're just brainwashed and they think they're doing what's right. So they kind of give them this pass, like, yeah, I know you have some hateful ideologies and you voted for the madman, but you're only doing it because that's what you were brought up believing in, and you're only doing it because that's what you think is right. And it's like that's exactly like what happens is like you're such a good person that by being so empathetic, you actually give them more power. For example, it's like when someone defends the cult leader or defends the toxic partner. It's like, well, actually, they're only doing it because they're really a good person. But it's like terrorists think they're good people, but they still blow people up. So the point I'm making is like, no, they're not good people. They're bigots, and they need to be called out for it. Because if you have too much empathy, then you're going to let them slide right into the White House.
Yeah, I don't think you should let that be an excuse. I don't think it's an excuse.
Exactly, there is none, because the point I'm making is like, for every person that you kind of allow just to, have their own opinions, is a person that is going to do, by nature, damage to society because of their ideologies.
But I do want to say something though, really quick, is that the reason I think it's unhelpful to just be like, oh, they're all terrible people, they're all hateful, but whatever. The reason I think it's really important to point out that a lot of this is due to indoctrination is because if we don't focus on that, how people are being raised and what they're being taught, the problem will continue. People will continue to be indoctrinated, and the problem will just grow and grow and grow. That's why they don't want, a lot of people on the right want to homeschool their kids. They don't want their kids to go to college. They want to tell their kids what to believe. That's why it's so important to point this out, because it's deeper. Like, I feel like just saying they're bad people is lazy, in my opinion, because like there are obviously things that go on, and I'm not saying it's an excuse. I'm saying that it's an important thing to look at, so that way this problem doesn't keep going, because the real problem is indoctrination. The real problem is the brainwashing. It doesn't mean that it's excusable. They're doing hateful things. They're saying hateful things. They're encouraging hateful things. And I do think they should be called out on it, but those two things can exist at the same time, in my opinion.
Right, but I feel like having too much openness to allowing them to spew whatever they're spewing is going to cause a problem. Like this whole like,
yeah, and I don't think we should.
There's no
I think
such
we
thing
should
as
fight back.
free speech on either side.
I think we should fight back. I think that if you're hearing somebody say something truly awful, you should say something. If you feel like you need to, there are times where people have had these conversations with their families or whatever, and they know it goes absolutely nowhere. And I think that's one of the hardest parts, because people are then like, what do I do?
Yeah, you have to play your cards right. If it's not going to benefit you in that moment to, tell, people around you, then it's probably best not to, for that moment, until like you have like a freedom to say what you want and be able to walk away if they disagree. I think you have to play your cards well. I don't think running in and being like, you're all wrong is the appropriate method. But at the same time, I still think there is just too much. Like, for example, there's a lot of people on the right that are narcissistic psychopaths, where they are specifically playing on dark psychology. They're doing all these methods, and they study all these cult leaders, and they copy other people's speeches, and you can kind of like see it in their speech, the way they talk. And it's like, if you don't just completely shut them down, they are going to take advantage of people, and are going to, use belief in systems that are obviously, proven to be fallacies. They're obviously going to just abuse it. So it's like by giving them a chance to talk, they're not trying to convince, like Trump's not trying to convince people because he believes in Jesus, because he doesn't. He's trying to convince people for his own power. So if you have some kind of openness to, if you have too much openness with giving them a platform, they're gonna just keep on spreading their hate and radicalizing people. Like Voldemort, the bald guy with the sunglasses. Well, look at his platform. How many schools are now got so many kids going around being sexist on video games? I hear it all the time. People being racist and being fascist. It's because when they removed him from YouTube and all these platforms, he just got another platform. There's no real protection in place to completely get rid of these people, like Mr.
So then,
Infowars.
how do you decide what to do then, because you have to be careful of taking away people's freedom of speech, because then like who decides? Like that's where it gets complicated.
I
And
think
then
we got to do
sometimes
closing remarks, y'all. We got super chats, and then the show needs to end soon.
Oh, I'm sorry. I apologize. Do you want me to like wrap up or anything?
If you have any final thoughts, you can make them very, very
Yeah, like
fast. 'Cause
2
we have
sentences.
we have to run through super chats before we close the show.
Yeah, no problem. I'll just say that you know, the people on the right don't care about your feelings. They don't care about the harm. They don't care about the families that are split up. So you can't then care about their freedom of speech. There's no such thing as freedom of speech. The left will always censor hate. The right will censor the left for speaking up against them. So it's like, who do you really want to win? Do you want to censor the right's bigotry, or do you want them to censor your freedom to stand up? You can't have empathy. There's no such thing as freedom of speech.
Thank you so much for your final words.
Yeah.
Thanks, Elo.
And that's it. Thank you
Call
very
back
much.
another time.
Bye,
Maybe
bye-bye.
we'll get you earlier in the show. But thank you so much for
Bye.
calling. Have a good rest of your night.
Sorry, I did not see that
Thank you,
message,
you
and I
too.
did not notice the time.
It's totally fine. All right, let's run through our
Let's
super chats,
read.
y'all. Ooh. Lux is making dinner after this. Sounds delicious. All right. $5 from Sarah Talks Pod. Hey, girl. Wanted to share with my fave hosts that I graduated with my master's in social media marketing. Ooh, exciting. I was in social media marketing for like a really long time. It's a really interesting field and
Really?
forever changing. So best of luck. Congratulations.
$5 from Mythical Purple. Tonight's fun science fact: hippos are the most active at night when they forage for food where they can eat. And on average, 35 kilograms of forage. Hippos scare me so bad.
Yeah,
but
same.
I
They're
also love them.
so scary. 5 pounds from Mystic Mind Analysis. I love my gender euphoria hoodie, light pink with orange kitsune foxes, but it's too thin for current temperatures. I hate cold weather. Hashtag grumpy NB. Sorry, my friend.
$5 from the Atheist Mechanic. Jesus sacrificed his weekend for your sins. I didn't stay dead. So outside of a weekend, I didn't sacrifice much. Yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
I'm so over that conversation. $5 from the Atheist Mechanic. The only way to not go to hell is for God to use extortion. Believe in me or burn forever. I'm good without all of that. Thanks. Exactly.
$5 from Melatonail. Expecting us to be thankful to God for his sacrifice, like expecting us to thank an arsonist for putting fire. Exactly.
Well said. Thank you so much.
We need to start using that one.
Yeah, that is good. $5 from Sapphic Hazard. The first dog commandment is thou shalt sniff butts. Hashtag team plushies. That's cute. Yeah, they do like to sniff butts.
$5 from yesterday in the Western world. The second dog commandment, thou shalt hold no other squirrel. I saw a squirrel outside squirrel. True.
Oh my god. That's
you should write a whole
I
10
love
commandments.
That. $4.99 from Carveres. Does this card work?
It does.
Yeah, sure does. Thank you so much.
$5 from Sweetie Peasant. Cortez is suffering an advanced degree of Christian brain rot syndrome, CBRS.
Oh my god, I know.
Also, stop calling us drunk, dude. That's the second time this week.
Who called us drunk?
What?
Cortez, I'm pretty sure, was drunk on Sunday as well as today.
I thought you were saying that he said that we were drunk, and I was like, huh? When did you do that?
No, sorry.
I think he was drunk. I agree. He was so slurry. $10 from Paul. I can't say that, Paul. I'm so sorry. This is my first time tuning in on Chewed Gum. I'm loving this dynamic duo. Thank you for being here. I'm so sorry that
Thanks, Paul.
I'm having a very hard time reading your last name. Gaithic? I don't know. If you can spell it phonetically in the chat.
$5 from Ali Shauna Silverbow. Daddy, please save me from your wrath. Don't beat me with your belt again, Daddy. If the Christian God is real, he's evil. Yeah, exactly.
T. Yes. Yes. $5 from Aaliyah Shauna Silverbow. Alyssa, never stop being slick with your mouth. It's what makes you so awesome. That was so funny. I was like, fucking excuse me.
That's the funniest thing to call someone, like slick mouth. Slick. Like, what the?
What does that even mean?
$5 from Meg801. People not knowing the difference between a fact and an opinion is something that irritates me on a daily basis.
Oh my
but
God.
that's a world we live in where it's like there's no difference between the two anymore.
Truly. Oh my God. $5 from Blue Lear. This is for having to deal with Cortez. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. It's crazy.
$10 from Darren McLeaf. Slickmouth Alyssa is wrong. The average lifespan has gone up because the masses aren't dying in infancy anymore. Oh, I have heard this. People are living as long as they ever did, but we never lived to 900. Yeah.
I think the difference between an average lifespan of 60 years old and 80 years old, like even if you don't count the children, it's like 60.
Yeah. That's
But I've heard, like, I know what they're talking about with the charts and like how that can be read wrong. But yeah, I agree. All that.
$10 from Chase Flynn, the deadpan K from Taylor. Every time a caller says something insane is giving me life.
It'd be like that.
So funny.
$5 from Joshua Everett 9887. If Denny is for real, this unintelligent, his will start to feel exploitative very quickly.
This will start to feel exploitative, I think.
Oh, okay. I understand, I think.
$10 from Lord Ben. My dog Hattie is unfortunately facing the end of her life due to cancer. Oh my God. And gallbladder disease. The fact that Trump and Miller get to walk around while my little bundle of joy is dying is a very stop it. I am so sorry.
I've always said that if I die before one of those motherfuckers, like I will come back. I will be back. Even if I don't have a soul, I will be back. $5 from Jacob Moyer, 5434. If science never changes, like Danny stated, does that mean we can finally have justice for Plato?
Yeah, justice for Pluto.
Pluto.
Girl.
Why did I say Play-Doh? I ain't paying attention at this point.
I didn't even notice. 10 Canadian dollars from Where's Waldo. Most of the time they're doing research wrong. They don't look for truth. They look for validation, but they really are sincerely invested in belief. Yeah, that's what I was saying. It's like when people talk about they did their own research, when people are doing like actual research, they're trying to prove their own theory wrong in any way they possibly can. And when people are doing their fake like research, like they do when they call into these shows or whatever, are trying to tell me that they can live off of beef and fat for the rest of their lives. They did their own research. They looked for things to validate their own.
And I've deadass had people like just sending me an Alex Jones video as their own research, and I'm like, okay,
what the fuck
get the hell
are you
out
talking
of here.
about?
$5 from Willow's Worldview. Elo is, or what was it? Elo is late in the UK. You're tired. Go to bed. It's late in the UK. Yeah.
$5 from Aaliyah Shauna Silverbow. A wife called her husband a misogynist. He turned to her and asked, "Now, where'd a pretty thing like you learn a big word like that?" Misogyny joke. That's funny. That's good. Thank you so much.
$5 from Joshua Everett 9887. Hey guys, Elo is a mind reader somehow. He's for some reason qualified to explain people's thoughts and behaviors.
Yeah. I know. I'm like, how do you know? And
calling
why would
everyone
that
a liar
matter?
is just not helpful.
It's not. $50 from Carverest. I've learned so much from Chewed Gum, and you've helped me change many of my toxic beliefs. You're much appreciated. Thanks, Alyssa and Taylor. Thank you so much. That's really a generous super chat. So thank you so much. We really appreciate it. Thank you for being here.
$5 from Meg801. You guys make me love Tuesdays. Also, thank you, Alyssa, for suggesting is it Vela products during the last LineCon? Truly, it's a game changer. What is that?
Okay, so Vela, it's called Vela Bioscience. I think that's the name of the brand, the full name of the brand. And they have lots of really great products. They have a lube called Slip and Slide, and it's really great. But they also have it's a serum. I can't remember what it's called now. It's called, I think, Pleasure Serum. And it's specifically formulated for vulvas, and it makes everything like way more sensitive. You have to give it like 10-ish minutes to like kind of sink in, but it's awesome.
Interesting.
So I don't know which one Meg used, but I'm so glad that you like their products because I love their products too. $10 from Carverest. The smartest person I know refuses to say she's in an abusive relationship because of the headship scriptures. Intelligence isn't the problem. Yeah, exactly. That's what Taylor was saying. It's not, it's indoctrination, which is completely different.
Yeah.
Completely different.
Sorry, I was busy looking up Vela products. I was late on that super chat.
Okay, yeah. They're great.
$50 from Bleeding Roses. I grew up in a fundamentalist Baptist home, and when I ended up in public school, I had biology and was told by my dad, pay attention enough to pass the class, but don't believe in evolution because it's a lie. I wasn't ignorant. I was indoctrinated. Exactly. Thank you. Thanks for sharing that.
Thank you for sharing that, and thank you for the very generous super chat. $5 from Corey Springer. Just want to point out that ice can go fuck itself. Truly. Fuck ice.
Fuck ice.
Fuck them.
$5 from Space Barbarian 3484. Hey, Evo, go start your own show to demonstrate how much better. Elo. Oh my gosh, why do I keep doing that? To show how much better you know people's mind. Oh my gosh, you know how people's minds work. I can't read it anymore.
We've hit that wall in the show where reading just stops working. $10 from Legally Mod. I think Elo is a right-wing troll trying to bait the hosts into saying intolerant things about conservatives. His idea of what leftists are like is a fascist caricature. I honestly, after a while, I started tuning out because I was like, I don't really understand the point of why we're even having this conversation. Who cares?
$10 from Carverist. Jehovah's Witnesses parents lie to their children, let their children die by refusing blood transfusions. They are not faking it. The bigots for Trump aren't faking it either. Exactly.
Yeah. Wish they were. $10 from Puriform 42. Theist and life on other planets. It's the father-son galactic roadshow. Watch me kill my son and bring him back to life. And have we got a book for you? That's awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. That's awesome.
$5 from Lord Ben 6584. Yeah, sometimes I wish I was a dark wizard or lich, and then I'd take soul energy from the Trump admin and transfer it to Hattie. I'm just not ready. What's Hattie?
That was the dog from the earlier super chat who's going to pass away soon.
Yeah.
Oh, that's sweet. Yeah, I wish you could do that.
Oh my God, so horrible. $10 from Tony the Silent Man. For reference, it was the pleasure serum, and as her partner, I can concur. Game changer. Hey, Tony. It's so. There are a few times where you try a product and it really is like a game changer, and that is one of them. It's like kind of pricey too, so I'm happy that you really do like it so much. But anyways, thank you so much for watching. Thank you for all the wonderful super chats, and thank you to Lux for producing and Dragon for screening and all of our wonderful mods. We had some crazy chats today, and y'all were on it, so thank you so much. Thank you to all of our patrons. Go to patreon.com/calltheline if you like this channel, if you like the show, if you like any of the other shows on this channel. You can support us there, and we love ya, and we'll see you next week.
Goodbye.